And we're live. This is Julian Jean-Pierre from the Royal St.Lucian Seamoss Company, and you are watching Seamoss Live. Or let's talk about Seamoss. I think it's take two because I started earlier. It seemed like the I wasn't getting any connection on the Facebook. Which, give me a second and see. I'm actually doing that. No, I got everybody online. That's cool. So, welcome. I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes for some people to kind of get in the room. Um, Let me put out the links. Hello, Anita. Welcome. I'm gonna put this link here. This link is going to, for some people that like sometimes their name is not going to show up because of just the way that Facebook and everything works in this program. And if you want to add on yourself as a guest, you can copy and paste this link. Which, let me see if I can. Add it to the Facebook groups real quickly. You have strange. Okay. Just trying to add in the links so that people can add themselves as a guest if they want. Here it is. Do it there. And the links there too. Awesome. All right, well, let's get into it. I know some people will probably show up as this show starts. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to show a document that I've had in my possession for quite some time. I've always shared it to people whenever they've asked, but I've never really put it out publicly. Hang on one second, I'm getting a message there. Maybe important.
Yeah, I'm trying to make the label because
Yeah, we'll do that later. So let me share my screen. So this here is a document. It's been in circulation for quite some time. Um, it was put out by the I think that's the Caribbean Natural Resources Institute, um, and they put out this guideline series. And this is a guideline that shows about the sustainable CMOS practices um, in St. Lucia. But this is a document that was given out and shared to communities like all over the world. This is a lot of the basis of what people use for CMOS farming. And you can see he's pulling up a line of Echinima there. So this is by a doctor here, PhD, Eastern Caribbean Center, University of the Virgin Islands. It is a credit to the people of the Caribbean that they point out the success of the production and use of CMOS as being the result of combining traditional and modern approaches and knowledge. The use of seaweeds. Actually, let me just turn this page down. get back to reading. The use of seaweeds for food continues to be popular throughout the region, and the combination of growing demand and decreasing natural populations has become a concern from both the economic and conservation perspectives. In acknowledgement of the need to make the harvesting of seaweeds more sustainable, men and women in the coastal communities of St. Lucia have been participating in the development and refinement of Seamoss cultivation techniques. The outcome has been the first example of ancestral maniculture in the region that has successfully adapted by coastal people as a viable occupation. And I just want to go back. I don't know if it says it here. So this was produced 1997. So that's probably about 24 years. You know that this was there. That this was produced. Just to give you an idea of like how long this has been in production. And I think it's even before that. You know what I mean? That's probably just the most updated version. Um, Going back here to what we're saying here, the cultivation of sea moss involves men and women in science, business, processing, farming. Over the years, experience that has included working on the science of identifying and improving seaweed stocks and obtaining high quality yields after processing has contributed to the development of a practical mechanism for resource management in the region. The people have benefited economically from their approach to the management of this valuable resource, and the environments of the bays have not been placed under any significant stress. The results of cooperation among partners from government agencies, the Caribbean National Resources Institute, the farmers, and the processors have been the refinement and improvement of all aspects of seaweed use and production. The techniques and information provided in this booklet are designed to offer an example of appropriate technology for the region. It is the result of much hard work on the part of the partners on the project. The Institute is grateful to those who supported the work and made the result possible through their contribution. We hope to find we hope you will find it's useful to your efforts in participating in sustainable resource management. Okay, this is something that is actually it's not here. It's actually the next page. I'll get to that. But I'll read this here. The Caribbean Sea. Well, let me see if there's any comments. You guys have any questions? Let me know. Cherry, thank you so much. I'm glad that you received your CMOS and Squid. I'll be honest, a few people have been receiving their CMOS a little bit late, and that's only because it's the holiday season, and I apologize for that. We're trying to get them out as quickly as possible, and yes, Rio, give thanks, and so we'll do our best to you know get all orders out as quickly as possible. I'm just gonna open up the comments here so that they can be displayed. So getting back to the, actually, you know what? I want it to be read so everybody can see it. So the Caribbean Sea contains many hundreds of species. About 10 of these are used for food in the region. The most popular are various species of Garcilaria and species of Eukinema. Each of these produces a carbohydrate that dissolves in hot water and then thickens or gels when cooled. In the case of Garcilaria species, the carbohydrate phyllosaccharide is agar. The Eukinema species has a different carbohydrate known as carrageenan. So depending on the sea moss that you get, it's either going to have high like amounts of agar or carrageenan, both that have been proven good for you. Um, these seaweeds are known by different species in different parts of the Caribbean. In most places, they are known as sea moss. In Jamaica, where the greatest variety of species is used, they are known as iris moss. In Belize, they're simply known as seaweed. The traditional use is the preparation of drinks and puddings, but many new products have appeared in the market in the recent years. There are some recipes that are found in Appendix 1. Hold on. This is what I get when I try to connect with the link on my cell. I'm not sure what you get, but I know if you're trying to do it from your, if you're trying to link to join in the conversation from your cell phone, you need to make sure you give permissions to the web browser to enable your webcam and your microphone and stuff like that. I know some people have had some issues with it. They've ended up using their computer or copy and paste it and put it in the actual the web browser as opposed to trying to join it from like click the link just from Facebook. Right? So if you have a problem trying to join, copy and paste the link into your web browser directly from your phone. And let's get back to the reading. Um, People in the English speaking Caribbean have a very favorable opinion about the nutritional value of sea moss. Chemical analysis shows that these species contain high level carbohydrates, particularly agar carrageenan. People who don't eat these types of seaweeds regularly have little ability to digest these complex sugars, but this inability increases when seaweeds are a normal part of the diet. There are also a variety of valuable amino acids and minerals, but these are easily lost if the plants are washed in fresh water after they've been dried. Right, so there's a lot of amino acids and minerals and stuff like that. And even with the seaweed, like what they're saying in this paragraph is that you over time your body will adjust to taking the seaweed. And I do agree with that point. Like the more you take it, I feel like the more beneficial it has within your life. It's something that it's not like a pill that you just take and you feel amazing. You have to take it and use it for for as long as you can. Like it's got to be like a lifestyle, right? Until the 1980s, all seaweeds used in the Caribbean have been were harvested from the wild populations. However, like many other natural resources, the demand exceeded the supply, and the wild stocks dwindled almost everywhere where they were harvested. For this reason, the government of St. Lucia began a research program to develop methods for cultivating sea moss. The program began in 1981, and in 1985, a group of sea moss farmers made their first harvest from a farm on the southeast coast of the island. Since then, a number of individuals and families in St. Lucia have taken up seamoss farming as a profitable occupation. The technology has also been transferred to people in Grenada, St. Vincent, Dominica, Barbados, Antigua, Jamaica, and Haiti. So, like, this technology was definitely shared among people, and you know, everybody's learning from it. This is something that I want to take um, a little bit of time on and make sure people see this and get a chance to read this because it really shows the you know the biology and how CMOS works and what it is so that you understand it. Okay, so CMOS belongs to three major groups that can be distinguished by their dominant pigments. CMOS species such as Garcilaria and Euchinima are reds, and the other two groups are the greens and browns. However, the greens and browns are generally easy to recognize. The color of a species of red seaway may differ from one site to another, varying from yellow to light brown to purple. Genetic variants of some of the sea moss species may not have the red pigment and are bright green. The shape of the plant and the type of branching is affected by water conditions, which add to the difficulty in identifying many of the seaweeds. This is something I've noticed. It's sometimes really hard to even distinguish between Garcilaria and Euchinima because depending on where the regions are, the water and the conditions and the temperatures, the sea moss will grow differently. And you can look at some sea moss and think it's one species of sea moss and it's actually another. Most of the world's commercial seaweed species are red or brown. Only reds are used in the Caribbean. Like all seaweeds, they have no true roots, leaves, or flowers. Plants consist of branched fronds attached by a holdfast to a substrate such as a rock or dead coral. The holdfast anchors the seaweed but does not absorb the nutrients like the roots of a flowering plant. Okay, this is something that is like You can Google this, you can research this, you look for this, you will see many times over people have repeated this fact that the holdfast has no ability to absorb the nutrients. So in a sense, there's no way for the minerals to get the nutrients from the rock, right? So the holdfast is just there to anchor the seaweed and to keep it from floating away, basically, because as the currents go back and forth, the sea moss is waving sort of like in that water, right? So the holdfast does not absorb nutrients like the roots of flowering plants. The entire seaweed plant absorbs the nutrients that are dissolved in the surrounding seawater. This is an important feature in the farming of seaweeds, as cutting from plants can be anchored by any substrate, such as rope or nets, as long as the water conditions are suitable. Seamoss has a complex life history which includes both sexual and asexual phases. There is an alternation of generations from identical looking male and female plants, which produce gametes for sexual reproduction, to other identical looking generations, which produce spores. In addition to the free living plants which grow mixed in population, there is a small parasitic phase develops within the female plant. This phase can be seen in the reproduction female plant as small bumps on the branches. Spores are released into the water and drift until they become in contact with a surface that is suitable for them to attach and germinate. The sediment and germination of spores is the means by which the species spread and colonize new substrates. The most common substrates for spore sediments are rocks, stones, dead corals, and shells. But some species can be found growing on almost anything, such as discarded a cloth, plastic, tires, rope, bricks, and wood. When the plants are growing, they may change color. The amount of the red pigment in the plant is affected by the amount of sunlight that they are exposed to, and the amount of nitrogen, a nutrient, that is available. Bright sunlight bleaches the plants to a pale straw color. A good supply of nitrogen, for example, from runoff from heavy rain, allows the plants to produce more of the red pigment. Thus, at any time, the final appearance of the plant is a balance between the effects of sunlight and nutrient availability. This is often seen as bushy lines where the upper plants may seem very pale, but the shaded plants on the underside of the line may seem deep red. If the shaded plants are also pale, then the site most likely has a low level of nitrogen available for growth. Right. So that's a big important feature in the waters is that it has to have a high level of nitrogen for it to grow. Good night. Let me see who that is. I can almost tell it's a St. Lucian because most people would not say good night like that. But let's go back to a little bit. And then if anybody has any any questions about CMOS that you want to ask or get into, we can definitely deviate from what I'm reading here. This is something I can definitely share with everybody. Just send me like an email or I don't know, post your email in the comments maybe. Actually, no, send me an email in the message because if you do it in the comments, it'd be hard for me to keep track. Yeah. Hey Todd, how's it going on Clubhouse? You didn't have any questions or anything you wanted to ask, did you?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, is that Canary book the or not? Is Saint Lucia where Seamoss farming originated at? Is that where it started at in the Caribbean?
I'm honestly not 100% sure, but we did do a lot of, I guess, research into it. I think there might have been some work done with, like, some of the Spanish countries, like Venezuela, and so, because I've read about stuff that they did. But I know St. Lucia definitely in the Caribbean. When it came to the Caribbean, they had a big hand in producing like in learning how or developing the techniques for cultivation. Hmm.
Okay.
That's one of the
Okay.
reasons why I think they're their Seamoss is considered so good. It's because they're really good at
They're
it.
like the pioneers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean they've been doing it since the '80s. All right.
That Canary book, the Canary book is dated what? Is that in the 80s or late 70s?
No, you know what? I've seen one where it was like the '70s or the early '80s, but this one actually has a copyright in 1997.
Oh, okay. Is that that's the one I originally saw? I thought was a little older too. Is that a reprint? The one that you're reading from right now?
I think so, or it might have been some kind of copy.
Okay.
I know this. The PDF was not the original. It was like a photocopy. You could tell like they took the copy of the book and basically photocopied it and made it into a PDF.
Okay.
But this is a document that's given to most of the farmers in St. Lucia, if not all of them. You know what I mean? Especially when they're giving any classes on how to do Seamoss farming, they're using that book as a sort of a teaching manual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have the copy too, because I know it's not hard to find. Like if you Google it, you'll find it.
Yeah, I had came across the link, man. Probably I want to say maybe late spring, early summer,
Mm-hmm.
and started, reading through it and everything. And that's when it first came across my radar,
Mm-hmm.
And so, but like I said, I left a comment in your group. I'm Rufus Masters in your group. About how when I came across it, I mean, when you posted it, like I was like, man, to me that seemed like the most authentic, one of the earliest pieces of literature that dealing with Seamoss and then, like the farming of it down there. Like I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything that predates it. You know.
No, no. There's a few documents that I have like that are sort of like after that, but that
Uh-huh.
is sort of like yeah, the like sort of like the original manual. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And in fact, you know what's crazy? Like I know one of the guys in that book. If you go down to where is it? Page page 8. There's page 8, figure 2. It says Seamoss Farmer Ainsley John. I know that guy personally. I met him and I saw him. He's got the sickest farm off to this like up this hill. We were like I guess roaming, checking out the Seamoss farms, and we bumped into him. And I think they call him Short Man. Really nice guy, and like
You said
no,
page. Let me see. I'm going through it right now. You said page 8.
well actually page 10 I think on the total book on the
Is there a picture?
document. Hmm?
Is there a picture of him too?
Yeah. So the picture of the guy wearing the bee
With the
hat.
cap on?
Uh
With
huh.
the baseball cap on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that guy's still Seamoss farming to this day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm fortunate enough to get Seamoss from him. Like that's one of the guys that I source Seamoss from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And so he's got a really nice farm. I think next time I go down to St. Lucia, I'm gonna go check out his farm because he's got a unique one that's unlike. He doesn't really use sticks. He uses a lot of anchors and stuff, and he keeps his Seamoss very low to the ground.
Oh,
Some
okay.
people will
Okay.
like put it up higher, and I mean, there's no difference, high, low. I think the only difference is like with the lower, it kind of takes longer to produce. You know what I mean? You get more thicker bunches.
It takes. Is it? I mean, is it colder? That what causes it to grow? Take longer to produce at the lower.
The colder water, it's colder in the
Uh,
bottom towards the ocean floor. Yeah.
okay.
So when the water's colder, that's when it will you'll produce less seamoss. That's why in some ways sometimes there's a season, especially in St. Lucia, where there's a lot of sea moss just coming out of the water, and it's because the temperatures are really warm, and the sea is just giving a lot of sea moss. But recently, I I've been talking to a lot of farmers, and they've been telling me about how the sea moss, the ocean is giving up a lot of natural sea moss. And so many of the farmers that are normally farming, they're not really farming. They're actually just pulling the water naturally that's been sort of like floating in the water, because it could be because of the volcanic ash and everything that happened with the eruption in St. Vincent, that some of that stuff has flown towards. Because I know St. Lucia got blanketed with a lot of that soot and stuff in the water, and then just on the island, like it was reaching as far as Castries, that there was dust flowing. I'm wondering
with
what
the
it would be like for Barbados, because that place got like dusted.
with
You know?
is it with the stuff floating in now? I mean, do they have any way to dictate whether that's full spectrum or gold or purple or green, or is it just kind of, is it a variety, or is it more of one than the other, or what?
Well, generally full spectrum, how that's kind of made is from my experience. Now other people can tell you different, so I don't want to say like I'm the be all and end all of what this is. From my experience and knowledge of seeing it, the full spectrum mostly comes from CMOS that they've tried to make purple, and that for whatever reason the CMOS didn't fully go purple. Now my experience and belief is that any sort of sea moss that is not blanched is going to have a different effect than the sea moss that is blanched. And sea moss that would be blanched, or I mean, it would be sun bleached, and that would be the
Uh
gold. So,
huh.
so the purple, the green, the full spectrum, they're very similar in sort of like smell, taste, potency, experience. That's my
Uh huh.
perspective, right?
Okay.
It really just comes to your sort of preference when you try it. I think that the full spectrum comes out a little bit more mild than the purple when it comes to like the overall ocean smell and taste.
Uh huh.
The green, from my experience, taking on its own, it's a heavy detoxifier. I was like constantly like definitely having a lot of bowel, like it just washed me out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I feel like if you mix the full spectrum with all those three kinds, you would get like a almost like a broad spectrum of the different
Okay.
phytonutrients and color. Like I don't have any proof of that, but that's just my sort of take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah. Someone asked earlier too. They wanted to know if I think it's better to boil or blend. Um, I blend. I don't boil. My dad boils. He swears by it. Now, I have no proof whether one or the other is better. Maybe I should try and take a taste test or something, like 2 weeks on one, 2 weeks on another. But I don't know. My curiosity is whether or not boiling it would unlock certain things, properties in it that might not be bioavailable in the blend form.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't believe this idea that it will reduce nutrients and stuff like that, because for the most part, everybody that's boiling it, they're boiling it in the same water that they're almost soaking in it. Oh, hey, Moss King, I didn't even see you there.
What's going on now? I just tapped in.
Yeah. So yeah, as I was finishing saying, I think like boiling it, not boiling it, it really comes down to your choice. I'll say one thing for sure: all the Caribbean pretty much boils it. Like my partner boils it. You know what I mean? All the farmers I know boil it, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what are you saying, Mosking?
Just cooling, man. I was just hearing you when I was trying to log in, talk about the green sea moss. I'm about to make up a batch of that for myself this week. Because I remember you saying before that you felt like it was a good detoxifier.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm about to make up a batch of that this week for myself.
Yeah, maybe I should try some too. You know what I mean? Because it's been a while. I've been, you know,
Doing your
living in
thing.
the world as you speak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bro, I so badly want to go back to St. Lucia and live in that sort of lifestyle where it is just like living in the world in North America is like completely different than living in the world in St. Lucia, where it's just
yeah,
you have to deal with so much fucking bullshit. Ugh.
yeah.
None of this I had to deal. I kind of like let it loose to my kids when I was in the car with them. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, if I was in St. Lucia, none of this could touch me. None of this would bother me. None of this, you know what I mean? My mom couldn't call me every day. Like, dude, I have my mom calling me like because I'm like the kid's favorite. I'm like the pure mama's boy. So she just calls me, and I'm like, she's my new accountability partner.
Right.
Everything I don't do, she calls me every day and reminds me. It's almost like this is what you failed at. You know what I mean? But I love her so much, and it's hard to like. I can't not take her call, right? But it's like, did you remember to do this? Did you do this? Did you know? And so it's just like, Mom, I'll get to it. Oh, you need to do this, and this is gonna go wrong, and then. And I'm like a guy who believes a lot on like manifesting and sort of like if you think it, it will come. So I'm freaking out because I'm just like, you're just bringing bad mojo on me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Somebody asked the question: do you use the water after boiling? Rio Stone, two tone.
yeah. Um. Well, first of all, I don't boil it, so that'd be her question. I know that those that do boil it, they use not so much the water that it's soaking in, but they boil it in some water. And then they use the strainer when it gets all soft from the boiling to kind of use that to blend it into one gel. One thing I have noticed is that when they do boil it, like my dad can leave it on the table for 2 days and not give a shit. Like he doesn't care. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? He's like, no, it's fine. So I think that it definitely will have more it will last longer, you know what I mean. But I know people have been using the water a lot on their plants, you know what I mean. And I think it would be good in like if you wanted to like wash your hair with it or soak your hair, you know what I mean, in something. If you're a female, the Seamoss would be like that you're
The
soaking.
you talking about the soaking water?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some people use it in the soaking water for their hair, their feet, I've heard, but mainly plants. They'll put it in the plant water.
It got to be a reason why it stand up longer, room temperature when you boil it. But I think ultimately it boils down to how thoroughly you first rinse it, and then when you soaking it. Because I know me, I change my water like maybe 3 times in between while I'm soaking it. You
Hmm.
know, and really like
Like
cleaning
rub
it.
it.
Yeah, cleaning it real thoroughly before I actually turn it into a gel. So it just really probably just depend on how clean it is. You know,
Hmm.
because I don't know if everybody go through the same process of really trying to make sure that their sea moss is clean before they turn it into a gel. It just depends.
And it even depends on the species in the region, right? With a lot of the sea moss from St. Lucia, it's different than some of the wildcrafted or some of the stuff that you would get from Jamaica, because a lot of that stuff will like inside the branches or fawns or whatever you call them, they would like trap silt like from the ocean, just dirt,
Hmm.
and it
Yeah.
just gets caked on it. One of the reasons why they're using Eucadima and Garcilaria is because that has almost like a slime on it that allows this, like when you wash it, it just kind of falls off and doesn't stick to it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good though. Some of the stuff that you was reading out of that manual, I'm, you know, I'm almost in awe that still, it's such a huge argument about Seamoss and rocks.
Yeah, dude. And it's hard for me to get into the argument when you're dealing in comments. But I even want to just say to people, okay, think about this. All right, say it does get the minerals from the rocks. Okay, say it is possible. It therefore any rock that it has to attach to has to have a combination of all the minerals that it has. Otherwise, it's not going to have those minerals because if it's taking the minerals from the rock, not every rock has their 92 minerals that they're saying. Some
Right,
rocks are granite, some rocks are this. You know what I mean? They're not going to all have magnesium, phosphate, iron, gold. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Come on. So
Common sense.
yeah, where are they getting this? This is just logic. Forget
Yeah.
fucking science. This is logic. In order for that sea moss to absorb the minerals from the rock and get its full spectrum of minerals, if that was the only way it gets the minerals from the rock, then that rock needs to have all the minerals. And that's not I don't believe that's possible.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
that's
a
it's common
geologist.
sense. It's
Yeah,
it's it's common sense.
yeah.
It's just become a huge debatable selling point. It worked for some people, and some people it don't work for.
Well, it's tough because it is a good marketing, like saying that, like the second you say, because I'll even do it sometimes, but I'll rephrase it. I'll say it's believed to have 92 minerals. Oh, 92 minerals, fuck, that's a lot. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
there you get it. So I'm wondering, maybe I should do a test and say, oh, it's believed to have 60 minerals, and see if I get the same sort of enthusiasm as
Yeah,
92.
yeah,
That could be the problem. You know what I mean? People,
yeah,
and that's just the way the market is. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
It's crazy. This shit is crazy.
Yeah, but I find that anybody that's done their, I guess, even an hour of realistic research will come across that information.
Hmm.
Yeah, you spend an hour on Google, I guarantee you, you read 5 websites, you'll find that information that it cannot get it from it gets it from the dissolved minerals from the water. It's an algae. You know what I mean? It has no root section. So even when you break like a piece off, I can break a piece this big of the sea moss, of a branch of sea moss, attach it to something, and it will continue to grow.
Mm,
Yeah, without a substrate, without a hold fast or whatever.
mm,
Yeah, as long as it thinks it has it, it's gonna continue. And even if it doesn't, the shit flows around like timbleweed, like all over the ocean. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like you're walking around, you're stepping on it. That's how it washes up on shore. You know?
mm.
Yeah.
So, I know you was talking about the quality control group. You know,
Yeah.
that's a big project, right?
Huge.
It's a
Bro.
big project.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that Rick had brought up last week, he was saying, "Oh, well, you all know who I source from,
Mhm.
but he was saying they do a moisture test. Like, is that something common that people do, um, or you feel like it should be done with all CMOS? Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. I'm not sure how they do the test. I think that if the test is affordable, yeah, it could be done. I know that most people will, like, even for us when we buy the CMOS, we know just from a feel, like whether or not it's too wet or it needs to be dried more. And
Mm,
so it's not uncommon for us to say, hey, take it back, come back in a day or two, and you know what I mean, when it's dried properly. Like
mm,
most of these guys, I mean, like, I don't want to say anything. I'll just say this: I'd like to see how they do the test and how much the test costs, because I know it does get expensive if you had to test every batch. And for the most part, most of these guys know, I know from feel, whether or not a CMOS is too wet or not. You know what I mean? Just from
Yeah.
feeling. If you've dried enough Seamoss, you'll know what consistency you need to get it in order to get that proper balance. Because at the same time, if you get it too dry, you know what I mean. It's just it's not to say appeasing, but it's like it gets really fluffy. It's tough to pack. It's not manageable from a like I guess a commercial perspective.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I think it gives great yield though. You know what I mean? The drier, the more you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like wheat. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
fluffier the wheat is, the more you're gonna get. But at the same time, sometimes that wheat that has a little bit of moisture is gonna have more like terpenes in it, more oils and essence. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so, do you really want to have that? I have no proof of that. You know what I mean? And I feel like the dried sea moss is just as good, but the market likes it a little bit moist. That's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
Well,
you know what I mean?
it is more manageable, you
Yeah,
know.
they complain about it being able to put into their bags and it not fitting in, and you know what I mean. And I get
Yeah.
it. You
Man, I
know.
mean, I like I was telling you, this was my first time experiencing like that side of it. Because when you used to get something and it's just a consistent, um, I don't even know if that's like a quality thing, but man,
Mm,
I don't know the word I'm trying to figure out, but um, because I don't really consider that to be like a quality thing, because it could be extra dry, you know what I'm saying? It could also be, you know, flexible and pliable, and still be good sea moss, right?
mm,
But when it's really dry, like it is hard to package,
mm-hmm,
you know. But it's just like everything else. When it's super dry and light like that, you're gonna get more for your money, you
mm-hmm,
know. So the yield is more. I just like it right right there in the middle, you know.
mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit of a balance, and I agree with you. And I mean, I'll tell you, dude, like this idea that I have, I want to do it so badly, but it's like the challenge that I'm having right now, the reason, like, I guess the roadblocks is stopping from doing it is because I haven't figured out a clear way on how to organize it in such a way that it's transparent and it's fair for everybody.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? You got to go at this delicately because you don't want to be the guy that's kind of facilitating all this stuff and you're the one person that's all benefiting and no one else is. It's almost like I have to set it up in a way where everybody benefits more than the person that's kind of in the middle facilitating it, if that makes
mm,
sense. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
otherwise, you'd be questioning it, you know?
but but my perspective is that you know, you gotta want to submit to structure, right? Because at the end of the day, somebody got to sit at the top because everybody is not going to be capable of doing the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like you on the ground in St. Lucia, like you'll be the one. I mean, of course, okay, you're in Canada, right? But you got roots in Canada. Your guy is, I mean, you got roots in St. Lucia. Your
Mm-hmm.
guy's in St. Lucia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a given, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So from a quality control perspective, that would be more on your shoulders than anything, you know. Like myself and whoever else would just be having to trust your eye, trust your guy who we've never met. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Well, and that's the thing too. I plan to, if we put this off the ground, to put everybody in somewhat direct contact with him. You know what I
right,
mean? It
right.
wouldn't be as something where I'm the gatekeeper and you have to go through me to get to my. You'd have full access to my guy because in some ways you need to properly explain to him what exactly you want, so he
Mm-hmm,
gets it, and he'll
mm-hmm,
get it. Like I'm 1,000% confidence in him.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
But I like the idea of it just running across the board. Like I don't know. It's just like the street shit. Like it has to be uh, a protocol and a structure for everything.
Well,
So
yeah, sorry to cut you off, but one of the things that I see that I want to try to eliminate, because I see it's hurting both sides, is the shipping. Do you know what I mean? Like if we could console all this CMOS into one sort of area, bring it in one time, that's one custom fee, one shipping fee. You know what I mean? One everything. Then that eliminates, because some of these guys are buying 20 pounds and they're paying almost the same price as the CMOS as they are in shipping. Why is this shipping guy getting the money?
right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you pay a little bit more, but we make sure that the people on the ground who are submitting the CMOS are getting paid a fair price.
But how do you? But how do you
Exactly.
how do you break that up? Right?
I don't
Because
know.
in terms of like, okay, so let's just and I'm just throwing any number out there, generalizing it, right? So say you get in 4,000 pounds, right? And then it says six of us. You
Mhm.
getting 4,000. This person getting I don't know 1,500. This person getting 300. This person getting 200. Are we allowing somebody that's getting 20 pounds in that circle?
I don't think so, or at least not at the same price that you guys are paying.
Right.
I think part of the problem with this market is that the guy that's paying 20 pounds is paying the same price as the guy that's paying 1,000 pounds,
Right.
right? And at the end, even though he's paying that price, when it comes down to it, he's still paying more. So, and he's paying all that in the shipping and stuff like that. Because I
Mhm.
know when it comes to most of the shipping ways, Amerijet, American Airlines, or whatever, the first 100 pounds is the same. Whether
Right.
you do 10 pounds, 100 pounds, it's going to be the same price.
Right.
And you also have to pay like the hacks fee and this fee and like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Shit in between the air
yeah,
freight and the handling fee is almost $300. Almost. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um,
But
it's right
if I
around
yeah,
275.
but if there's a way to bring it in bulk and even just have it waiting there, so you just call me and say, "Hey, ship it to me," and in 3 days it's there to you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, you got to wait at least 7 to 10 days.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Depending on, well, it's like if you call on a Friday, maybe you can make the shipment on a Tuesday. Yeah, unless you guys are shipping on Amerijet, which might, or not, sorry, American Airlines, which might be a little bit more. I think those guys go out daily. But
Yeah, because I don't know. I do. It's like maybe 2 to 3 days for
yeah,
me.
but then you still have to go and pick it up from the airport.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
pay your custom broker. That's a
Yeah.
couple $100.
Yeah.
The truck you got to rent. What if you could get it just shipped to your door? Boom.
That would absolutely work for me. You know
That's
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying. You know what I mean? And you just pay like a shipping UPS from a place like New York or Miami or something like that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I would love to simplify that. Like, I mean, because for me, where I'm at right now in my business, like that would help. Like if you saving a few hundred or 500, you know what I'm saying? Like that make a big difference.
Hmm.
It makes an absolute big difference. But that's why I said like I'm open for that. It's just I know it's not like a quick fix. Like and then it's gonna take some agreement between.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing. I think I need to like sit down and start figuring out all the benefits and the reasons as to why people need to come together. Because even just off the top of my head, I could think about power and numbers. We'll have more power to when we come to buying something. We'll be
Mhm.
able to, dictate a certain quality and stuff. But that's another thing too. I want to see, like, there needs to be somewhat of a grading system in this industry where, you know what I mean, CMOS that would be what I would consider B grade is not selling for the same price as A grade. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
Because, or even, you know what I'm saying, or A grade selling the same price as B grade. It needs to be the distinction so that people are understanding what they're buying and the value.
Yeah, but the customers are gonna have a big say so in that. You know what I'm saying? Because right now the prices are all over the place. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they're all over the place, and people are getting accustomed to like paying what they're paying, and they think that it's fair and right. So once you start that structure, and you saying, okay, all right, Moskin, you're gonna get your however many pounds for from us at this cost, right?
Mhm.
And it may be still a great price, right? But then it's like, but you can't sell it. Like you need to stay within this price range, you know.
Mhm.
So now I gotta depend on people spending more than what they're used to spending. You see what I'm saying? Because, like I said, the prices are all over the place. So it's like, how do you convince people, or how do you get that under control? Because
Mhm.
really, that's going to be left to the people that are not on the top tier of the food chain. Because
Yeah.
now you getting 4,000 pounds, you're not even supposed to be selling to nobody that's buying 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds no more. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So even you're gonna be giving up business. You would be giving up business that you normally would have. And you gotta ask yourself, are you willing to do that? I gotta ask myself, am I willing to do that?
I think there needs to be almost like a set price across the board, where it's almost like, even if I sold you 5 pounds, I'm selling you 5 pounds at the same price that someone that, like, bought 100 pounds would sell you 5 pounds. It's almost
Right,
like I can't, almost like kill the market by selling it for cheaper than what the going rate should be. You know what
right,
I mean? Because when I look at it, like, from like selling weed, in a sense, that's my only sort of like comparison.
right,
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't like. There's only few guys that I can go to and get an ounce for $100.
right.
Most guys are going to sell an ounce for 200 or more, because that's the going rate. Even if they have they're sitting on 20 pounds, it's almost like, to them, it's like they're like, fuck, if I'm gonna open this bag and piece off one piece for you, then, you know what I mean, I'm gonna make it worth my while. And in some ways, I think we need to kind of say that. It's like, well, okay, if I'm sitting on 4,000 pounds, if I'm gonna sell an ounce, I'm gonna sell the ounce at what the market rate is selling, or the 2 ounces, or whatever, so
Mm,
that I'm considerate of those people that are selling it. You know what I mean? That are paying more for that pound and stuff.
mm,
But to me, it's like, if you're reselling CMOS as a raw sense, you shouldn't be buying 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. You're like, if you're trying to resell raw and you're buying less than 100 pounds, like, what are you doing? You know what I
right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
within a week, if you're never really going to grow, because by the time you get going, you're going to sell out.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like, I sell 10 pounds in, like, less than a day. Like, not to, like, fucking, you know what I mean, brag, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if I had 20 pounds, I would be, and then you got to wait 5 days to get your shipment. Like, no, like, you know, if you're reselling that, you shouldn't be selling less than that. Now, the gel guys, you know what I mean? At 5 pounds, 10 pounds, like, even we did the numbers the other day on this live. Like, at $50 a pound, you know, you're making $300-400, or I don't know how much is it on, let's say, what is the going rate, like $20 or $25 a pound
for what?
for gel, or sorry, for 16 ounces of gel.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah. So 25 times, even if you got 16, that's $400. You know what I mean? Like what? It's $20 for your jars and labels, $25. You know what I mean? You can't spend $50 on good. You know what I mean? And the reality is, if you got spent the $50 on a good, pound of premium Seamoss, you probably would get more than 16 jars out of it.
Yeah,
You know?
because I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you're getting even more. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And you're just caking. You
Yeah.
know.
But that's
So,
the that's our culture, man. It's like even though the person is making the jail is making minimum several times more than the person that's selling them that pound, they still want to try to Jew you down on the
but
price,
but
like they
say
buying 100 pounds from you. It's just like,
say they saved $5 a pound, right? Divided by 16, that's like 31 cents you're saving on that container.
yeah,
Okay? Like, is it really worth that? Like, to me, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you can get like, I don't know, it's not like you're really seeing it. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Until you start moving, and to me, it's like you sell one extra jar of gel, you've made that $5 that you could have sell. So the problem
yeah,
is not the price of the CMOS; it's your ability to sell the CMOS.
mm-hmm,
Do you know what I mean? And and
yeah,
and, and what's killing the market is that people want to sell 10 jars and make $1 million.
mm-hmm,
Do you know what I mean? Like like
mm-hmm.
like do the work, guys. Like
And sit down with a calculator and scale and understand like what you're actually paying and profiting from
yeah.
it. So so that it makes sense to you and you really understand. Which probably over 80% of the people that sell CMOS not doing that.
hmm
So
Ricky's right, man. We're underpricing this product. You
yeah,
know, a pound should really go for almost $100. You're making $400 off the gel.
right,
You know what I mean?
right. That's why it gets so tiring. Even going back and forth with people because it's just like sometimes it's just not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not worth it. It's just not to respond, not to answer some of the questions. It's just crazy.
Really is. My boy in DC was telling me they sell nickel bags of wet sea moss at the health store. Yeah, man. Like they sell those little mini 2 ounce bags or whatever bags at every health
Hmm.
store, at every Jamaican store. What do they call it? Angel Brand or Caribbean Corners or something like that.
Hmm.
They're all over, man.
And
And
people going in there buying that stuff, 90 going no. I said I was gonna really take some time and start going into some of these stores and these Caribbean markets and saying, hey, like, look, you don't got to do this. You don't have
listen,
to do it. You know what I'm saying?
bro, you want to know my secret? I'll tell you something low key. Well, not low key because I'm doing it on the line. Um, I've partnered with a lot of people that are getting into the stores, and I've told them basically do this. And guys, you can copy me. I don't give a fuck. Go to them with 2 ounces and 4 ounce packages. Price them how you see fit. Give them 30 days consignment, and tell them I'll be back in 30 days to recycle the sock. So whatever you're not selling, I'll take out. And if you don't, you know what I mean? Like basically, if you can't pay me for the rest, I'll take them, and we'll figure something out. You know what I mean? The guys that I've told them to do this, not a single store has turned them down. I'm telling you right now, no fucking store, excuse my language, but no store is going to turn away free merchandise on consignment. They will take it and make a chance, especially if they have the room for it. The only reason why they'll say no is because their store is small and they don't have the room for it. So you basically, it's like chopping, bro. You know what I mean? You get all these stores lined up, you give them the inventory, you come back 30 days later, you collect what they sold, and what they didn't sell, you know what I mean? You take back, or you keep it there and you let them keep it for another month. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? but you keep checking with them every month to make sure. You know what I mean? It's like you're the milkman,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
and just hit as many stores as you can. And the money you guys will make on the 2 ounces and the 4 ounces blow pounds. I laugh when people want to buy, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't even say this. In my head, I amuse myself when I see people are like they want to buy 10 pounds or 20 pounds, and when I talk to them on what their plans are, and their plan is to sell it by the pound. If you're buying less than 100 pounds, you do not want to buy. You do not want to sell it by the pound because once you get going, like sure, in the first month or two, you're going to sell a pound here, a pound there. But when you really get going, you really want to scale it. If you're doing it 20 pounds at a time, you're going to run out fast. You know,
Nah, that's a good idea.
yeah.
I need you to send me the information on what size um packages I need for them 2 and 4 ounces,
Okay.
so that I can
Well, here,
actually.
let's. I'll do it right now, bro. We're on
Yeah,
live. We got people they want to see it. I'll show you where I get my bags from. We order it from a company. They're in Canada, but they ship to the States. It's called Pouch Makers. Hopefully they won't run out of stock. No. You know what I mean? I tell everybody where to go for their bags. I'll call them tomorrow. They'll be like, "Oh, we have no bags." Like, why did I open my mouth? I'll call them tomorrow. They'll be like, "Oh, we have no bags." Is that you, or is that me?
yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's not me. Like, I don't know. I might have an open screen. So yeah, this is Pouch Makers. They have an online store here, and they have all different kinds of pouches. You can actually even get them to make and design pouches for you, right? So they got the custom printed pouches and stuff. Um, you even have smell proof bags, clear bags. You know, I'll show you what we use. We use them for
The 2 and 4 ounce.
yeah. They're actually where are they? These two I buy from mailers. These are actually good too. The mailer bags.
It's just the main page up now. You haven't pulled up.
Oh, I have to go. You click the button like the bags. I think it's the no. I think I passed them. There they are. Yeah. So these are I think the bags I use. The craft paper stand up pouches. What the? Okay. I don't know why that room. So the bags I use for the 2 ounce and 4 ounces, I use the 250 milligram gram bag. So that's the measurement. Can you see that measurement?
Nah, it's not coming up on the screen.
Oh, hold on. Maybe I'm. You know what it is? I opened a new window and I didn't switch the window. Here I am, like I'm going through all the things you're like looking at. It hasn't even changed the screen. You're probably like, "What the hell's going on?" Let me fix that. There, you see that now?
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the bags that I use. I use well, I lied. I use these ones and I use a white one. So all the gold sea moss goes in a brown bag, and then all the colored sea moss I put in. I think this one, the white one.
And that's the 250 gram.
Yeah, so the 250 gram, I put the 2 ounce and the 4 ounce in. And then I have a 750 gram one. That's what I put, or I think it might be the 500 gram. I put the 8 ounce in. Yeah, sorry. On the 500 gram, I put the 8 ounce, and then on the 1 kilogram, I put the pound.
Hold on, let me put this in. So 250 is the 2 ounce, right?
2 and 4 ounce.
Oh, you can do 2 and 4.
Yeah, I picked that size purposely because I could put the 4 ounce in, and then I figured if I could fit the 4 ounce, 2 ounces is not that bad, and it saves me from having to. I didn't want to have too many bags.
Okay, and how and
Now I have
what size
three
is the 8
sizes.
ounce?
The size of the 8 ounce would be 500 grams. Let me just double check. Go check my order. Mm, Let's see what my last invoice was like. Um, yeah, so it was the five. It's the 250, the 500, and then the one on the 1K.
You said the 250, the 500, and it's another one.
1 kg.
That's for the pound, though, right?
Yeah, so that's for the pound.
Yeah, yeah, I'm good on that. I just
Hmm.
the 2, 4, and the 8.
Yeah, and so this would be the measurements, because even though I say 250 grams, like you have to make sure you get the right measurements, right?
Mm.
160 millimeter width by 230 millimeter height, and then this 45 millimeter for the grommet, or the bottom, the gasset, which would be this measurement like this.
So all 250 milligram, I mean gram bags, not going to have the same dimensions, right?
Yeah, it might even depend on how they calculated that 200 and uh yeah, sorry, I'm just reading a message. um yeah, so it might be different, like someone might define the that size for 250 grams different than how these guys do. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
going
but
basis. So for 500, it's 130 Canadian. So it's probably about 110 for a box of 500 bags.
that's great.
Yeah. Then there's shipping. I don't know how much, but I don't think shipping's going to be too much for you guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you can select the size.
Oh yeah, you can do different sizes. You can even pick 750, 1 kilogram.
No, I'm saying so. Wait a minute, unless I'm tripping.
Hey, welcome Sean on the. Oh, he left. I didn't even see him. He's been chilling there. Sean was actually in the clubhouse room.
Yeah,
You should come on the live stream.
yeah, he should.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the boxes and the bags, brown, and then people might actually want to see this. I also get the spout pad things. So these are the ones I'm using, the 16 millimeter, but I'd actually would probably get them smaller now that I've gotten them. I found that the pouch containers, the thing might be a little bit too big. But these are the ones I got, and I got the ones that you fill from the top. Although I would probably recommend getting the ones where you fill from the actual nozzle.
for the gels.
Yeah, and I got the 250, and then I got the 500 mil. But you can see it's like for 250 bags, it's $1.25 Canadian. That's probably about 100 US, maybe 105. So you're paying like, probably with the shipping, maybe 50 cents,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, for each packet. That's not bad for 500 milliliters. Compared to a jar, you're probably paying like dollar 50.
Yeah.
And these, you can fit more of these in a smaller space.
Did you see Candy's question about
No.
what would be a good profit to split with someone willing to sell your dried 2 to 4 ounce CMOS?
That's a good question. I know for us, I think we're selling them in the stores for about 25 Canadian, and we're selling them to about $15 Canadian. So even if you did that US, you could probably sell it 4 ounce in a store for $25
Well,
US.
that's retail, but if you
Yeah,
I think she's trying to figure out what would be a good price for her to offer it to the
yeah,
store.
$15. 15.
15
Yeah,
for what
give
size?
like I don't know, 4 ounce, I guess.
Four
Like
ounces.
in some ways it's not so much the size, but it's what you can sell that product for.
Mm,
So if you can sell the product for 2 ounces for $25, then offer them 15. If you can sell the 4 ounce for $25, then offer them 15. They need to make it almost as much, if not more, than what you're making off it.
right,
You know what I mean? Even if you could take 10 and offer them 15, they'd be all over it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah.
But but I think a 60-40 split would be fair.
Mm,
Yeah. You take 60, they take 40 because you're covering your material costs, your that cost or whatever. But, you want to give them a good enough incentive that they're going to sell it
mm,
because in the end your profit's going to be numbers based. You know what I mean? If you can get yourself into 1,100 stores, then you know what I mean? Even if you made say you got into 100 stores and you were making $5 off each product, and each store was selling $10, like you're making $50 off each store a week or a month.
right.
That's 50 times 100. That's 5,000. Even if you made that in a month, that's fucking good money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who wouldn't want to make an extra $5,000 going over to dropping off CMOS to 100 stores? You could probably pay a guy $1,000 to go drop them off for you, and you don't even have to touch shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Shit for some. I mean, I take an extra 2,500 a month,
Yeah,
2,000. You know what I'm saying? Like that's money that you normally may not be seeing. You know,
yeah.
and you
But
don't even
that,
got to be in 100 stores because so many of these stores is selling bullshit. You know what I mean? And then
mhm,
you come in with a product that you know is it's gonna got legs on it, firm legs. You
yeah.
just putting them in position, and you already taking out the overhead of them having to go find it, look for it, get it shipped to them, or whatever the case may be, and you give them a premium product. It's money to be made.
hmm And I tell the guys that I sell to, I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit what anybody says. No one can talk to us. I'm telling you right now. Anybody tells you that CMOS is garbage, you call me right away. I'll get on the phone and set them straight. Like when it comes to that CMOS, no one's getting better. Like they might get the same quality that we're getting, but no one's getting better quality.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, and that's the thing. When you get that kind of level of quality, you can put it in the stores, and you can say these this gummy shit, this you know what I mean, this wet stuff. It doesn't hold can't hold a candle to it. That you know.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Sean? I see your muscles popping in the picture. He's on Clubhouse. You know Sean
Yeah.
Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my man. Yeah.
yeah. Thanks for joining in and on the conversation. What are your thoughts? Like, I'd like to hear your opinion on things. What we've been talking about.
I just been saying, enjoying the conversation. Pretty much piggybacking off everything y'all saying.
Just
My
taking
thing,
notes, eh?
yeah.
Nice.
I'm be going to each store that I could possibly walk into, and be like, hey, how you doing? You ready? Have you ever heard of Seamoss before? Hey, here it is, a great product, just like you guys said. And I'm gonna be hitting the ground running, man.
Well, that's what I keep telling people. It's a numbers game. The more people you put this in into their faces, you know what I mean.
Right,
The more results you're gonna get. If you're not showing it off to people, then
right.
no one's like. That's why you're not getting sales. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing the. Didn't you
Yeah.
do the pop up shop, or was that someone else that I thought?
Oh yeah, I'm doing pop up shops anywhere, like you said, anywhere I can get in it. I'm gonna be there and show them my product, and it's gonna sell itself.
It
You take
does.
the benefits, sell itself.
That's what I love about the Seamoss. Once someone tastes it, once
Yeah.
someone tries it, like they actually try it, like for a day,
Right.
sold.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? My brother is the biggest fucking critic. Okay, for him to be on board on CMOS, I know I have a winner. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And
What?
he was loving it.
Right, right. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, if you have those people, when you get them bought in, you like, oh, I know this for sure. That's a good product. You know what I'm saying?
facts,
Yeah,
facts.
yeah, I can't wait. I got a couple stores. I got one store I'm in right now, but I'm in Mississippi, and the Seamoss people don't really know about Seamoss like they do everywhere else besides Mississippi. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I'm in the prime area to take over and just take over the market in my area. I'm like on the coast of Mississippi, like at the bottom. So there's no one really doing it. They're doing it, but they're not
Doing it.
Yeah. I got a client down in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah,
miss.
I got a client down there. I think she live in some called Belzoni.
Arizona. Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people doing sea moss, and but they I haven't seen too many people doing like sea moss with the herbs. I'm trying to bring the herbs to the game, like the elderberry and the bladderwrack
Or
and the ginger and stuff like that.
moringa.
Moringa. I got a lot of research that I'm getting ready to start doing. Like the moringa's really good because I've been doing some research on
I,
the moringa.
I am like mystified that people are not like illin over moringa. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Moringa is sick. Like it
You
does
keep
so
talking
much.
about that meringue.
Yeah. Oh no, wait! I'm gonna build a moringa farm. That's when I'm really gonna start pushing it. But it's like I've tried it in a tea, and it's great stuff. I love it. Like especially with the sea moss, it's like a 1-2. It's like a combo right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So hey, what's up, Leah and Maria? Welcome, guys. Leah, did you have any questions at all? Did you wanted to ask about sea moss?
No, I'm just kind of listening. I make Seamoss Joe, and yes, the moringa. I use moringa powder and also spirulina powder.
Nice.
Uh, I I just make it for my friend, my family, and myself and my husband. But haven't thought about starting to really market out and make a living, or just have some kind of monetary value from what I'm doing. I sell it really cheap, like $5 for a 16-ounce jar,
That is
because I
cheap.
don't want to. I'm doing it out of love, for the
Mm.
people around me, and I want to inspire them to I want to inspire them to have healthy habits. So, but it's just nice to listen to um, other people that are in the CMOS world and get ideas and stuff from them. That's all.
Hmm. Well, hey, listen, just it's good that you're selling it for an affordable price, but at the end of the day, it is your time and your energy, and as much as you want to like help people and sell, you got to make sure that you charge a price that is, I guess, retrospect to the amount of work that you're putting in and the effort, and to make sure that you can continue doing it. Because if
Yeah,
you not making enough money to survive, you know what I mean, you're not really helping any. You know what I mean, like you're gonna burn out really quick.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I make theirs when I make mine, so I don't feel like it's a lot of extra effort.
Hmm.
And so when I buy like a 4 ounce um, container of the Seamoss, it'll run me because I'm on a subscription for it, so I save a little bit. So it only runs me like $24,
Hmm.
$25 for the 4 ounces. And so when I prepare 1 ounce, it makes enough for like 3 members of my family.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel like it's too bad because off of that 1 ounce, I'm making $15. So I'm not in it for necessarily the money, but I want to branch out later on. Like, I go to a lot of vegan outreach things, so like if I'm going to a vegan market or if I'm going to do like a vegan summer market, I'll probably just want to have a table and sell them. And I'll sell them probably closer to like $15 a jar.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing it for my loved ones, if I tell them, it's gonna be $20, they're gonna
Hmm.
be like, "Oh, it's okay," because that's how they are.
No,
So
no.
just to get them hooked on the benefits at first. First, I was doing it for free, and now I'm just increasing it a little bit to $5, just so I can help pay for the supplies. But you're right, $5 is pretty cheap. But I just want to make sure that they're understanding the benefits before they knock a $20 price. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree.
yeah, absolutely. I start not to cut you off. I started off exactly the way that you're saying right now, and the passion of doing it right there just drives you. Over time, I've been doing this for 7 months. Now I see that I must value myself and my time much more. It started off just as a family, and the drive was just tremendous. But over time, I've been doing it for like a year now, and I'm starting to see that my time is very valuable now, and the time that you put into because your clientele is going to grow because it's a great product. But I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to make that point.
Oh no, you're all good. You're all good. So I've been really doing some research, and I follow the teachings of Dr. Sebi, and I've been uh, I'm gonna start buying the Condis crispus, that particular variety from
Yeah.
Ireland. I've been reaching out and connected with somebody in Ireland who sells straight from Ireland. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, so I'll definitely be increasing my price because the 4 ounces that I would get for like $24, now with shipping, international shipping, it's going to cost me quite a bit. So I'm definitely going to be increasing my price,
Hmm.
especially now that I know that with and I have poor connection. I'm going through a back road, so I don't know if I'm going in and out. But with the Condis crispus, I know that's the exact variety of the sea moss that has like the most minerals and it's most potent. So I'm really starting to gear towards that. But I'll definitely be increasing my prices because shipping from Ireland to the United States is going to cost me a lot of money.
Facts.
Yeah, that's true. There's also companies you might want to try sourcing out in North America, like in Maine, is a known source for getting Condorus crispus, and also in Canada, like New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, they have areas where the companies are harvesting it from the natural environment. So something to think about.
Do you have any recommendations? So, what I got connected to this master herbalist, and she runs a company back to Roots Wellness, and I really just like her. Like she's very authentic, and she's very helpful in mentoring me with. I'm on a raw vegan journey right now, and so I wanted to support her, but I would definitely, just for like the longevity part of it, making sure that I can continue buying that particular variety of sea moss. If you have any recommendations for people that are a little bit more local, I would not decline that.
Well, one recommendation I will definitely make is to join the Facebook group that we started on Facebook called the Seamoss Buyers Club. There's lots of different Seamoss sellers from all over the world. But another site, although I don't know how if they do wholesale, but a lot of people have recommended this site called the Maine Coast Sea Vegetables, and they seem to have like a wide variety of different products that seem to be very good, and people swear by it. And they would definitely have the Condorus crispus there, and their website is seaveg.com, like SEAVEG. Actually, Maria, you sell Condorus crispus here. I mean, are you able to sell it in bulk, or how do you sell your sea moss? You're a little low. I can't hear you. I don't know if it's the no. It's like horrible. I've noticed that with some users, like sometimes they get on the clubhouse, it's like the sound is really low, and then others it's like it's not bad. It's weird.
I think you might be coming back. But no, thank you. I did just check that the seaveg.com, and they do have the Condors for space at a decent price. They even have a sample you can buy for $2, which I think is really nice because I like to test the integrity of the product before I buy in bulk.
Hmm.
So thank you for that recommendation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. And also check out Maria, who's here. She's at p dot skincare, the prototype skincare. She sells it, and I think you get yours from Maine, right, Maria?
Okay, is this better?
It's a little bit better.
A little bit. Okay, well, I get mine from Ireland, but I don't sell it in bulk just because it's a really cheaper recipe. Because, yeah, the increase in prices and even the shipping prices, I just think it's just not understanding. But I did try looking at the ones in Canada and also in Europe, and so far what I've seen, they only do seasonal. So, I'm still looking for more that's a little bit more local instead of getting from Ireland. So yeah, just a heads up. Can you repeat what you said about when you were looking to source from Maine or Canada? It kind of cut out. The ones that I've stumbled upon so far is that they only do it seasonal. Oh, okay, okay, that's understandable. Um, may I ask if you don't mind when you're buying it from Ireland, like if you were to purchase a pound, how much are you getting your Condors Crispus for? If it's a pound, hold on. Because if it's if it's 5 pounds, I'd probably be getting it for like 400. Okay. 400, okay. 450 Canadian. Okay. I have to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm about to just do a little. I don't know the equivalency for. So you said 450 Canadian. Yeah,
So
yeah. So if you can do local, honestly, that's just the way to go. It's so worth it. Like with the golden sea moss, the one that Julian has, like that's you could do whatever with it. But when it comes to the conjuice crystals, it's like they do tend to sell it for much more. So it's like you can't really play around with it too well compared to the golden sea moss. And that's what I've been buying, and I've been getting the golden sea moss from St. Lucian. But as I'm doing my research and as I'm being mentored by this master herbalist, I've been learning that the variety, the Chondrus crispus, is like the most potent as far as the most minerals and vitamins. So my family and everyone, they still like the benefits of the golden sea moss, so I'm going to continue making that for them. But for myself, while I'm on this journey, I want to have like maximum absorption of the minerals. And it's like listening to the teachings of Dr. Sadie, I want to get my hands on some. But I've I've spent a lot of money and gotten this Seamoss, or what's supposed to be Seamoss, and you know right away that it's manufactured, that it's full grown, that it has a very different smell, and the integrity is just doesn't hold up. So I get no. This one was just me trying to support somebody, and I ended up buying like a lot because I thought, okay, I thought that the site that was promoting them was vetting them, but I guess they weren't, and so I ended up buying a large portion, and it couldn't get my money back, couldn't get a hold of them, and I just took the L. So I'm just a little leery when it comes to purchasing, but I definitely I want to check out your website too. I like to support people, especially since I'm doing this. I'm not making a business out of it. I definitely want to just support people that are really making a business out of it. So I'm gonna give you a follow, and I'll probably hit you up on the back channel, if you don't mind. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Your name was Maria? Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. I love when we're able to make these kind of like network connections,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean? Because to me, that's what it's all about in the
Has anybody
CMOS.
kind of experimented with making the gummies or anything from the CMOS still?
Um,
I have.
yeah, you have Shawnee, right?
I've experienced many with the gummies.
When you are making them, what are you using to sweeten it?
I'm using the agave syrup.
Okay. And then so say I wanted to make the gummies, um, so I'm just gonna do CMOS, and I'll do like my sweetener, and then are you putting like a puree of fruit in it, or how are you getting your flavors? Because I'm kind of interested. I wanted to
Juice.
buy some molds.
I do juice, just on the simple fact because as we all know, fresh fruit has an expiration date on it. So I just do juices. I might even go and get some powders, some flavored powders too. That's what I've been thinking about to give you more of the benefits of the sea moss. But yeah, it's a trial and error when you're doing the gummies, and you have to gauge it based on your experience and how it works for you because sometimes you'll get it just right, and then sometimes you'll be like, I missed it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a trial and error, as I say. You know,
Well,
No,
yeah.
that's understandable. I feel like the hardest thing I'm gonna have, like the thing I'm gonna have a harder time with, is getting the right consistency for it to set. But that, I didn't even think about it when I asked like about the fruit puree. Yeah, it has an expiration date, so you probably want to do like a powder or a juice. I think I want to try that, and then kind of bag it up for the kids. I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and especially with everything going on, them being in school, and um, this time around they've already brought home a couple viruses already. So I was
facts.
thinking about doing like elderberry syrup
Right.
and sea moss and
Yeah.
making it into gummies. It's something that's like colorful for them, and that tastes good.
Hmm.
They do eat sea moss once in a while when their mom gives it to them, and it's very amazing. Like my niece, when she takes it, she already starts coughing up a bunch of mucus. It doesn't even take long. So I want to make it a little bit more fun for them and not open your mouth, and they're
Right.
all gagging on some sea moss. So
Well,
thank you for the recommendations.
One
One
of
more
the
question.
sorry to interrupt you guys, but one of the viewers recommended or had an idea. They said of soaking the sea moss in cane juice and then using that
Ooh,
to
I like
blend it.
that.
And that could preserve it as well, though.
Sorry,
And that can possibly like preserve it for a little bit more, though.
the cane juice could preserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I never thought about that. Is citric acid bad to have? Because I think that's something that would be like a preservative, right?
Yeah, probably it's probably not bad.
Yeah, of course. And it's not even they usually advertise it, or they try to advertise it like it's like real lemon, but it's like 9 out of 10 it's not real lemon. Yeah, it's. I heard that citric acid is actually like a lab grown mold, isn't it? Yeah.
Interesting.
I got a question. What are you using to lock in your gummies? Do you know? Do you have an ingredient to lock it in? Because I use agar agar.
I think I was gonna use some agar too to for the but I've been playing around with that. Like on Thanksgiving, I made these vegan deviled eggs. You couldn't even tell they weren't vegan because of the agar mixed with like my tofu and whatever. I had a hard time like figuring out that consistency and getting it to set right. So that's why I think I'm just gonna have to experiment with these molds, and I probably will have some and I have to toss in the trash or throw in the blender or something, But I want to get it to. I was just saying, does anybody have that magic formula that can make those really good gummies? I've had them before and I didn't like the consistency. So I want to try to make them on my own.
But you know what I'm hearing from a lot of people, and it's probably like a common thread. Like you're going to have to experiment with exact measurements. So that you're gonna have to break out those spoons and those measuring spoons and cups, and use exact measurements for everything that you put in. Make a batch, see how you like it, what you don't like about it, and then you might have to take something out. But always use exact measurements so that and write them down, and when you get to that consistency that you want with your gummies, then you know exactly which one actually work. Because everybody that I know that makes gummies went through the same process. And even somebody that may be satisfied with how their gummies come out with their recipe, you may not. So that's why, it's going to be good for you to just do the trial and error on your own. It might take a little bit of time because, Sean, you went through the same thing, right?
I think he's muted. Yeah.
Yeah, but he went through the same thing. And when I had called to talk to him about it, he told me the same thing. Like it's this trial and error. And even when he got to something that he wanted to start marketing, he still was like, I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna keep working on it.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's like a magic measurement. Because what worked for some people may not work for
And it's
another
also
person.
the type of CMOS that you would use because if you're using St. Lucian Seamoss all the time, compared to say Condor's Crispus from Ireland or Seamoss from Jamaica. It's going to have different consistencies that are going to require to make the gel. It's almost like you have to study it to the point where you can like it's almost like a recipe in your head, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
But something I've seen some companies try, especially in the Asian ones, they've been dehydrating them afterwards to extend the shelf life on it. Because
Mm,
the less moisture these gummies have, the longer they're going to last before they spoil.
mm. I didn't know that's what they did. That's why they look the way
Yeah,
that they do.
yeah, they dehydrate them.
Mm,
Oh, I'm over here talking with the mic off. I think that's probably why I didn't like the consistency, and I was wondering like, why does this taste like this? Like
Mm.
why is this like why is the chew that way? But it's probably that it was dehydrated to make it show like more. more of like a shelf stable, if you will,
Yeah.
So, but that's interesting because I had some elderberry gummies like that too, and I felt like I had to check the ingredients to make sure it didn't have like gelatin in it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so yeah, okay.
What
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, someone here, like, because we're doing a live stream on Facebook. Also, one of the guys, this guy Matthew, he said that he tried many times and abandoned the idea, but he said it works better with Seamoss powder as opposed to making the gel. And that might be a good point to make, is that when you have the powder, you can kind of dissolve it in the mixture, and it's not like when you're adding the gel, you're adding more moisture to it, so in effect you almost have to overcompensate with the agar to keep it like gelatin, whereas
because of the water in the
yeah,
gel.
yeah. And probably with the powder, you probably have to use less agar than you would if you use the gel.
That's a really good suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he's still there. So when you're doing the powdered sea moss, would you be like rinsing it and then putting it in the dehydrator and then like throw it in like a spice grinder? Like how would you get it to be in that
Powdered state?
powder
Yeah.
form?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you were making the powder yourself, I would definitely wash the sea moss, then dehydrate it so that it gets as dry as possible. Excuse me. And then you would use like a hammer mill grinder, or like a grinder like Vitamix makes a spice grinder, or maybe even one of those coffee kind of spice grinders might work if the sea moss is dry enough. But you could also just buy the powder from someone that makes it already, as long as you trust the source. And I know they make Condorus crispus powder and other, Garcilaria and Eukinema powder and stuff. Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Matthew's response said yes. Wash, dehydrate, then run through a mill grinder.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it.
No, it's our pleasure.
So can you run it back? What's the Facebook group again? It was was it Seamoss Buyers Club?
Yep, CMOS Buyers Club. So if you just like do a search for CMOS Buyers Club, you'll find the group.
Okay, I'm gonna join it.
Yeah, and then just put a post, say, "Hey, and be specific. I'm looking for Condorus crispus from like Ireland." Otherwise, you'll get like guys from all over the world trying to sell you stuff you don't even want.
I'm a part of another CMOS group on Facebook, and that anytime I post on it, it's just people. Even if I'm not asking for an advert, that's all I'm getting is like buy with us, and I don't know, I don't trust just anyone. So I
Yeah,
want to make sure that I'm sourcing it from somebody that has some integrity behind them.
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that's part of the reason why, we were talking earlier, Mosking, about setting up this kind of association, so that it's almost like, because there's a lot of these guys that are trying to sell that have it, like, it's very difficult for them to sell to the foreign market because they have to go through that sort of trust barrier, and that, to know that the product's going to be a certain quality, it's going to match what the customer's expectations are, and that they're going to ship it, and it's going to weigh correctly. Like, even sometimes some of these guys are so new in the industry that they forget certain simple things, like you have to weigh the CMOS outside of the box before you put it in the box. Like, I've seen that happen before, right? Where it's like, I'm like, well, did you weigh the box first? And they're like, what do you mean? Like, that's how much it is? And I'm like, no, no, no. The box is like 3 pounds. Like, the liner is like a pound itself. Like, you have to weigh that stuff separately.
Mm.
Oh, you know what I mean? And then even just, people trusting like, Western Union. Like, if there was a way for us to like sort of like facilitate the shipment part, facilitate the make sure that the person got paid correctly when their CMOS was sold and whatnot. I don't know. It's like, do we do it like a drop shipping? Do we do it where we buy all the Seamoss and hold it for people? I don't know. Like, what's fair? What works best for everybody? You know what I mean? And still, you know, and I think as a group, we also want to like make sure that the members like have information on how to get more, like how to start an LLC, how to get insurance for your product. You know what I mean? Even that, we can make sure that we ship it in such a way that it qualifies so that it can be insured. You know what I mean? And so imagine you now can, you can be confident and know that the CMOS that you're getting has been inspected and insured, and you know what I mean. You can call your insurance company and they'll be okay with it. I don't know. It's almost like we got to list all these benefits and possibilities and options, and then decide what works best for the group. You know.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to do. That's why I was saying last week we have to schedule one of these with those that are interested in possibly coming together and discussing all the variables, as far as like what a what is needed to pull the group together, all the different variables, and then start chopping that down,
Mm-hmm.
and come up with a list, and start finding out, what the options really are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like not in this type of form, but like put the call out, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and see who really is interested and who's even operating and dealing on that level, or on the level that we talking about. Because it has to be a minimum, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
and we get on these zooms, man, and start really hashing through the ideas and the processes. We
Yeah.
got to do that first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
first.
Yeah, then we'll put out a call and do that, because I feel like if we can get it together so that we're all just paying one brokerage fee, one shipping fee, that alone will sort of like, you know what I mean, save money. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And a lot of that money that we're saving, and I mean, in some ways we could still pay the same amount of money, but just ensure that we're getting the consistently top grade, and that the farmers are getting paid more.
Hmm.
Do you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that we save. Like, I guess to me, it's like I would rather spend that same amount of money and make sure the farmers all got it than to say see it go half into shipping.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like if they're selling 10 pounds, they should be able to sell the 10 pounds for more than if they sold 100 pounds.
Mm.
But it's sort of like prohibitive, because at 10 pounds or 20 pounds, the shipping is so high. No one, you know what I mean. But then again, they really shouldn't be shipping, like exporting, like that small amount. You know what I mean? It's so much work
Yeah.
to to ship 10 pounds, 5 pounds. Like, to me, if I was a farmer, I wouldn't get off my ass unless it was like 100 pounds or
Yeah.
500 pounds. You know,
Yeah.
put my guy.
It's a lot to sift through, Julian.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot because it's already processes that been in place for years. You know that more than
Mm-hmm.
I can even imagine it. You know what I mean? And then just the politics that's behind it, and then trying to come in and impart something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why I say like really sitting down with some of like minds and figuring out who doing what, who can afford to do what, logistically, what it looks like for everybody or the possibilities of what it could look like logistically. It's a lot, but I feel like it's definitely a better way to do it. You know,
Mm.
some structure is better than no structure.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Even just to make sure that these guys get paid, and that you when you order your CMOS, that you're gonna get exactly the order that you wanted.
hmm hmm
That is kind of vital.
hmm
You wanted B grade, you got B grade. You wanted A grade, you got A grade.
Hmm.
Because sometimes, like me, if I was a gel guy, I'd be buying B grade all the time, and you should be
Right.
paying a little bit less for it.
Right. Right.
So, boom, you know, and I can get the B grade significantly cheaper than the A grade. You
Right.
know,
Right.
and I don't know, and it would be priced. There just needs to be some organization so that there's a fair trade, there's a balance, because I feel like the end of the day, it's the farmers that are really sort of getting like stuck with the shit,
Yeah.
and they see how much they're selling the CMOS up here for. You know what I mean?
But
And yeah,
understand,
pardon?
no, understanding the grades though, you know, like, somebody could think that they're getting the best quality sea moss, and it's like, well, you know, within that circle that we talking about,
Mm-hmm.
we need to make sure that everybody do really understand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is what the A grade looks like. This is the characteristics of the B grade, and so on and so forth. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because that is something else too that educate the customers to as well. You know what I'm saying? So that they may be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I thought I was getting great quality, but I see that, you showing me that, look, this is this grade, but I want the very best,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm willing to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a lot of it's still a lot of information that's not out there for people to make, really good decisions on. And that's why I show up here.
Yeah.
Because even sometimes I'm like, what are we gonna talk about this different? Like, it ain't gonna be no new shit. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's still much to learn, man.
So much to learn, and that's why I don't like putting like, oh, we're gonna learn this today, because it's like, the real learning comes from just discussing and free thought and letting things just flow. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Matthew was saying, can you tell the grades apart visually? Is it like hydro? Yeah, I can definitely tell the grades apart. I don't want to really get into talking about the grades on this show, only because my concern is that there might be people out there that have they believe that they're getting a better grade than they're actually getting, and I don't want to be the guy that tells you Santa Claus doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, as much as I want to share it, like, I don't. I think I've said it on the show before. You don't mess with other people's money,
Yeah.
and so I'll just say that as you learn and you buy more CMOS, you'll just notice the differences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you'll see from experience that there are different grades. But like sometimes the grades, it's nominal. You know what I mean? To me, it's the one thing you want to look at is you want to make sure you're not getting a lot of CMOS that has a lot of dark spots in it, or black spots, and sometimes you can get it just like all throughout the CMOS. What I mean? To me, that's not good quality, and you shouldn't let a farm. No farmer should be putting out that shit. You know what I mean?
It's a
So
bad characteristic.
yeah, that is a bad character, and it's obvious, and everybody knows that that's low, like a lower grade. You shouldn't be trying to say that's premium stuff, but yeah. But I mean, it's obvious. The best grade is usually the stuff that looks the freshest, the ones that are just like harvested 2 weeks ago, a week ago. That's what I mean, and that's going to be stuff that's going to be lighter, drier, or not drier, but like a little bit moist on the moist side, more malleable and stuff,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
But the drier, like, uh, how you say, the drier stuff that's more like straw or more like, what I mean, like more fluffy, then that stuff's still good. Like, to me, it's like some people don't like that because of the appearance and stuff, but the value is it far exceeds the appearance. You know what I mean? Especially if you're making gel, you're gonna kill it with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Julian, we got about an hour left supposedly, but
Yeah.
I'm about to tap out, man. I got an early morning, but a short week, so I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
thankful for that. And I'm gonna see you on. Well, no, I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow
Yeah.
with them numbers, so you can send out what you need to send out to the labels out to me. But I'll
Yeah.
give you a call tomorrow, man.
Okay.
Good stuff tonight, man. And
Yeah. Thanks for hopping in and talking. You know what I mean?
yeah, no doubt, man.
Always a good conversation. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna stick here for an hour and do my hard close at 1 o'clock. You know what I mean?
1 o'clock, man. I don't want to see you nodding tonight, man.
I know. Oh my god. I made sure today I took a nap. That was the problem. Like yesterday, I didn't. That last week, I didn't take your nap.
Hey,
Um,
look, I started to I started to tell you that hit you early and say, man, make sure you take a power nap. You know.
I did. I took a brief nap. Hey, Rio Two Tone says, drop your email.
Oh yeah,
So
I'm about to do it now.
make sure. Yeah. What do you think about the before you go? What do you think about the purple shortage?
Well, I mean, I got some right now, so I don't
Mhm.
know. I haven't been thinking heavily of it, but I mean, you tell me. I mean, you think that that's really about to become an issue?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. That's the like why I kind of wanted to bring it up because people are mentioning it and like they'll be like, oh, they're just saying that to sound like that. This is something that is definitely, I'd say, in the next 2 months you'll really feel it if there's a short. Now here's the thing: there's lots of people that hang on to their CMOS, right? But they're
Mm,
waiting for the right price. So once the market price goes up to a certain price, you might see a flood of purple come out like out of nowhere, right?
mm,
That might drop the price down. I don't know, but I know that I've heard from several people that are in the CMOS that the type of sea moss that they generally use to make purple and the weather that is good for making purple is becoming few and far between.
mm.
And that it's I mean it's like this is the time where you don't get a lot of purple. I think it's because it's going into the drier season, and in the
Right.
drier season the weather is a lot more hotter and stuff, and so
Mm,
it's harder to put that purple. The sun comes out like stronger and stuff like that, and so the sea moss doesn't get most of the purple. They're using like a dark color sea moss as opposed to a lighter one, and so those will be less to be found in the wild. So you'll probably get purple, but you won't get the purple like you would get like in the
that dark purple.
yeah, like you would have gotten back in November or August and stuff.
Yeah, I heard it was really making the purple wasn't like an easy process.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't want to run out of it. You know, I said I would try to grab, a little bit more. Like I don't have like a whole bunch of it. You know what I'm saying? But I do have some of the really dark purple. Um,
Hmm.
and I wanted to, try to grab some more in a little bit, but you know, we'll see. You know, hopefully with the connections that I do have, when I am ready to grab some more of it, they'll be able to put their hands on it.
I think so. Where you're buying it, they have a very, and that's the thing. You're only as strong as your network. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and those guys have a very strong network. So to me,
Yeah.
they're better to deal with them than someone that is an individual who is producing it on their own, or they have to go and find who they know who has it. And sometimes what will happen is they'll give you one price, and then when they go to get it, they can't get it for that price.
Mm,
And so you might have to end up paying more, or you just don't get it because it's not at
hmm.
the price point you wanted at. You
Yeah.
know,
Is it the same? You think it's going to be the same with the green?
that's a good question. I don't know. Let me call and ask. I think the green has always been kind of scarce, as opposed to the purple and stuff. Although a lot of farmers, like in the last year, um, they've been doing more green. You know what I mean? Just because a lot of people have been liking it. Like the market develops, Soon I think this like in this dry season you're gonna see a lot of pinks. There'll be pink sea moss coming out.
Mm.
So I'd be like curious to try that out. Hey, what's up, Tata? Thanks for joining. Let me know if you want to come in as a guest. Um, Moss King here is tapping out because he's scared. He doesn't want to get too close to the hour. Figures he pull the rip cord now. You know what I mean?
This thing can get out of hand if you let it.
Yeah, that's true.
My
That's
vacation time don't start till after Wednesday, and it's still not technically vacation time. So I'm just
just
trying to
normal.
be more mindful, man, of my rest. These past couple of months, been busy, man. It's super busy. Now I got this 2 ounce, 4 ounce uh thing on my mind. About to do a store crawl,
Yeah.
go around and I say I'll just look. I'll take like I don't know, like 5 pounds and
Mm,
bag it up into those little packages and just
that's
go
it.
see. Cause that's a
Cool.
great idea. That's a
Yeah.
great that's a great idea.
You can't beat 30-day terms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like anybody, there's no risk whatsoever. I mean, at the very least, you might want to say to them, "Okay, give me $50, up front, and I'll let you hold on to this for 30 days. You pay me the rest, at the end of the 30 days."
Hmm.
That might, you might get some yes, you might get some no, but guaranteed, you give that to them and say, "I'm coming back in 30 days for my money or my product." They'll be like, "Yeah, okay, let's see what happens." you
Yeah.
know and if you can put some literature up, put some notice, tell people on your Instagram, come check the store, because they'll see
Hmm.
the increased traffic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you even get them to say, ask, just come in and ask for it.
Do you think you should draft up like some paperwork?
Yeah, if you can. I mean, if you can, don't let it stop you, right? But it doesn't hurt to have something, even like some kind of signage where it's like Seamoss in here, or these are the benefits, or even some kind of like little like 2x3 card that has some brief information that you put next to the package.
Right.
You know what I mean? The reality is you don't have to do nothing. You can just put it there and people will see it. But
Mm.
everybody wants to put their own spin on it, their own this and that. My advice is just whatever you do, don't let that hold you up from actually doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the main thing is just getting it in front of their faces and putting it in their door. You can do all the rest of that stuff later as time goes on. And it's almost better to do that because you can use the profits from these sales to push the marketing materials.
Mm. Yeah.
But like all anything free, like all on your social media and stuff, you should be directing them to these new store locations that you're at, and that's
Mm.
another reason to create content. And that, like, when people say, "Oh, he's in this store," "Oh, he's in that," like if you were like say for the next month put like a store every 2-3 days, you just get a lot of business just from people seeing that you're in stores and saying, "Oh shit, this guy has got to have good product. Look at all the stores he's in." You know,
Hmm.
like people are impressed by numbers. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm definitely hopping on that. I'm about to order them packages, and then as soon as I get them in, I'm gonna get to it.
yeah,
And you said that site that you on, they'll even do
they'll
your
print it.
packages up for you, like your imprint or whatever.
Yeah, they'll put either the stickers on it or they'll like print it like a printing label.
Okay.
You have to wait some time for it, but to me, it's like I don't know, you get a bunch of ones not labeled, and then sent to you right away, and then while you're going through those labels, you get the ones you want printed. You know what I mean? And take the time on that. Whatever it is, you don't want it to be slowing down your train,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like while we're in an abundance, this is somewhat of a not a race, but it's kind of like those that are in the game longer get reap more rewards. So
Mm.
the more you're just in the pool swimming, whether you're swimming with your dinky or you're swimming free form, you know what I mean? You're swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, better to be in there rather than looking at the water, waiting for your bathing suit to be made.
Mm-hmm. Man,
Just
nah, you
sitting
right.
there. Yeah.
You right. I'm
Yeah.
definitely hopping on it.
Hmm.
All right, man. Well, I'll be in touch with you.
All right.
I'm out of here. Appreciate everybody that popped in tonight, and I'll speak to y'all Wednesday. Show up on Wednesday, everybody. Tell a
Yes.
friend. Tell a
So
friend to bring a friend.
yes, please come in Wednesday and join in on the group here. And if you have a business that you want to talk about, like come in on as a guest and talk about the bit. Like I have Kirby on here all the time talking about his stuff. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We don't really push our products, but like it's known that we're selling and this is our business. You know what I mean? And so having as many people talking about their perspectives is, makes it a better group. To get a better event.
And like I always say, I'm here soaking up game from the likes of Julian, Kirby, Rick, Tater, people that are who I see as being like ahead of the game uh, as far as where I'm at in it. My
Hmm.
face up here, but for me, it's more about people seeing the face behind the Moss King brand,
Hmm.
and we're all on like different levels business wise, but you know, um, you getting a lot for free showing up here. you know, you getting a lot of wisdom, a lot of good guidance, and ideas for free. So people should be wanting to pop up here, join in, put their face on camera sometimes so people can see, who they dealing with, especially from within your group, you know, just seeing who they dealing with.
At the very least, it's practice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, look at it. You're now more comfortable doing this than you were before you started doing this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so if you had to go do this on your own and host your own show, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You
this is
got
your.
the foundation to start from.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the reality is no one really cares. Like 6 months from now, no one remembers what this video is. They'll watch
Mm-hmm.
it once, they'll watch it twice, they'll get the value at it, and then they'll forget about it. They won't remember how awkward we looked or this and that. Like no one cares about that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
do for a minute, right? But there's so much information being bombarded at us that there's no way that they could remember that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about like you being new or not being polished. In some ways, I feel like that you not being new, you not being polished, you making mistakes goes to the authenticity of what you're doing, and the fact you're so confident and so daring, or you believe in what you're doing so much that you're willing to do it even though you know you can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, that says the message to people how much your belief is on a product.
Yeah, it's like you say though. It's once you come into this form, whatever type of apprehensions for whatever reason that you may have had. Once it's so much wisdom and knowledge, to gain. It's like
Hmm.
you forget about all the surface stuff. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you start realizing, like, damn, I needed to know that. I needed to hear that. Oh, I needed direction on that. And then you keep continuing to hear people talk, and it gives you the confidence to ask the questions that at first, you know, you may not have asked or been afraid to ask. You
Hmm.
know,
That's a
so
good point.
a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of good a lot of good to come from being here. It makes me feel confident about one of the main things that I'm getting out of coming into this live is I'm understanding how big the market actually still is.
It's huge.
I remember you told me that when we first met, and I was like, and that was a while ago, and I was like, man, the Seamoss business is just saturated right now, and you was like, nah, it's not. you said you only feel that way because you're only in a couple of these CMOS groups, so you're seeing it from that perspective. But you was like the CMOS business is probably about this big, with the potential to be, you know,
Yeah.
so much more. Well, no, you said from my viewpoint, being in a couple of CMOS groups, that's why it looks like this. But
Hmm.
it's so much more to it. And so ever since you started doing these and just hearing all the different people, because there's always somebody else that's popping in, this inspirational. And like, so, well, I already knew Rick. Me and Rick had history.
Mm-hmm.
I had already been and continuing to build a rapport with you. But then when Kirby hopped on, you
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot about him and his wife's story was super inspirational. Then I didn't even know who Tater was. She come on the scene, and
Oh,
I'm right, and I'm just like, damn, who is this that's doing all of this? You know what I'm saying? So she was inspirational. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I be trying to tell people like pop in. You know what I'm saying? Like pop in, come through, even if they're not in the group. I've been telling people from other groups like, look, it's a forum on Wednesdays and Sundays. Like, come get in there because it's gonna be something for you in there. Even if you sit back, it's gonna be something in there for you. Like if you really taking your business serious. Now, if you just trying to make a couple of dollars to, you know, pay a bill or two, I respect that. But okay, you know, you don't gotta come around. But if you really trying to do something with your business, then pop in.
yeah,
Pop in. It's a lot for you here. You know?
yeah, I agree, and I feel it does do a lot to like help set a standard and level up the business. Because if everybody's learning from this stuff and gaining this information that they didn't know, it's just like that's one better person. More like the more people are out there that are more knowledgeable about what they want or even care about being knowledgeable,
Yeah.
the more the new people coming in have to meet that standard to which we then start. You know what I mean? There's some respect to the game.
Yeah. You gotta want to humble yourself too, though,
Hmm.
because there's so many of us that think that we got all the smarts. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
then coming in here and hearing people that have a different perspective than you, or just flat out know more than you, you know, and you have to humble yourself, you know, um, to have an open ear and listen. Because if not, you know, you're gonna get lost. And that might be one of the reasons why we struggle, you know, or it seemed like we've been struggling to like really get people in here. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody already think they got all the smarts anyway.
Hmm.
You know, and it's this two groups: the Seamoss and the Rock group, and the and the group that has a whole nother perspective. You know what I mean? So you know,
That,
that might be the thing. You know, it's this keeping people there. I ain't going in there because they don't know what they talking about because they don't believe all the nutrients come from rocks. So
yeah.
I'm just not going to show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
but even if they did and they brought, like, to me, I would give them the platform to speak their mind and sort of voice their opinion. Everybody has the entitled and right or wrong. They all have it in, like, they should all be entitled the right to speak their mind and their opinion. And let's debate it and talk it. Because for all we know, there could be something that we missed that could change the tides the other way and show that we were wrong all the time.
exactly, but that's where the humbling yourself part come in at. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like I see you doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a sponge for information, right? But
Hmm.
what I'm saying is, if you can't humble yourself enough to even sit still and you don't know how to communicate effectively in a way where it doesn't have to be like a argument. You know, it could just be a discussion. You know, I'm gonna hear you out. You hear me out. You might be like you said, somebody might bring something to the table that you never heard or we've never heard before. And then it's like, oh, okay, you
Hmm.
know, I know you still gonna research it. You gonna
Yeah,
put
I'm
it
gonna
right up.
check it and double check it for sure.
Yeah, but if it makes sense,
I double check.
yeah, if it's logical, it makes sense. There's some good science behind it, research behind it.
Hmm.
Okay, you know, that's pushing the culture forward. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And we're not gonna deny that, but that's why easy to identify certain types of people that may not be good and fit into the dynamic that you're trying to build at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
all in all, great place to be. You know, hopefully more and more people are starting to show up for it. You
Yeah,
know, and they are.
yeah, I see the numbers
Yeah,
climbing. More
yeah,
people staying in, more people asking questions about the show. What's this about? But that's how it is. Like, sometimes you gotta dance in the room like no one's watching for people to come in and see what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's all good. It's all love at the end of the day, like Tater say. All love, knowledge, and positive vibes. Bring it to the table, man. You know.
Hmm.
But all right, Julian, you tricking me out of.
I know. I got an extra 15 minutes out of you, so I'll let you
Nah,
go.
it's all good, brother. Like I said, I'll holler at you tomorrow, man. And everybody else have a good night. I'm gone, man. I'm gonna lay down.
All right.
All
Good
right,
night.
peace. All right, bet.
Who was that? Was that you, Sean?
That's my son.
I was like, someone was excited to see Moss King go.
Oh yeah, he gets his Seamoss every day.
Oh, is that your kid?
Yeah, he gets his Seamoss every day. I make him a purple Seamoss with elderberry and ginger and bladderwrack. I give it to him every day.
Nice.
But I've been making the gummies and he just tearing them up, man. And I've been posting videos and they've been hitting me up like crazy about those gummies.
It's amazing to see kids on Seamoss. The one thing I've noticed when kids take Seamoss is that they're like hyper aware of everything around them,
Right.
and then super confident, like no fear
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it's funny you say that because as soon as he get that Seamoss, he goes jumping on the couches, running around, watching
Boom, boom.
Coco Melon and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
I'm glad
My partner's kid, Yoshan, he's like, you know what I mean? This kid, you talk to him, you think he's like 20 years, like he talks to you like a man, and the kid's like 5 years old because he's just really smart, really aware. You know what I mean? And he's not afraid. He has no fear. You know, he bosses us all around, tells us what to do. This, that, da, 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 da. Oh, I miss him. Uh,
yeah, man.
yeah. So someone here just asked me a question. Am I related to Akeem? I think that's Akeem Pierre, and no, I'm not related to Akeem Pierre. Although we're both from St. Lucia, and I do know where he gets his CMOS from. We buy from a lot of the same people, but yeah, we're not really related. He's related to actually a guy that you should, if you're into herbal stuff, you want to check out this guy. He's Honorable Priest Kailash, and maybe I should pull up his website. Have you heard of Kailash, Sean?
I'm sorry. I was trying to order some food.
What?
Yeah, 2 regular waffles. I was trying to order some food. Sorry. But I'm back. What was you saying about I missed that last part.
I was asking you if you've heard of Honorable Priest Kailash.
I know I haven't heard of him.
So you've heard of Akeem Pierre, right?
Yeah, I heard of him. Yeah.
Oh, this guy's back, the Nazi Germany guy. Hold on, I just gotta block this guy on YouTube.
Who is that?
I don't know. He comes in like every. Hold on, did I do the wrong person?
Hey, what other platform are you on? What did you say?
So
what?
we're on YouTube, Facebook, and that's it. YouTube and Facebook. I'm on 2 groups on Facebook, and then on YouTube.
I didn't know you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow you right now, actually, to bring up your.
Yes, St. Lucian Seamoss Company. I mean, I should start promoting the YouTube channel more. We
Yeah.
don't really do it too much, but mostly I've been putting the live streams on the YouTube. But I'm going to share the page. This is the Honorable Priest Kailash. It's his website is priestkailash.com, and they have the retreats, the rejuvenation center. You can book a consultation with him. They have the store. He's got all the herbs and stuff, dewormer and stuff. And so this guy, Priest Kailash, he's like a certified doctor. Like he actually went to school to get his doctorate and everything like that. But then rather than go in traditional medicine, he went and sort of moved into his own herbs, natural healing and stuff like that. So he has like super female package. He's got a super male package. He's even got a herbal manual, The Matrix of Herbal Medicine, a guide to better living, free from pain and disease. Yeah, and then they do these retreats.
Yeah, even Rizla Islam was at one of the retreats.
Who?
Rizla Islam.
Who's that?
He's from the U.S.
Oh.
Yeah. Who else was over there? I think Chronic also went to that same one that he went to.
Really? Chronic? Who's Chronic?
Yeah, Chronic, the artist.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's cool. I could see it. I mean, he's well known in the whatchamacallit, in sort of like the herbal, he's kind of like a living Dr. Sabi. And then the retreat that they have is like really nice. It's like all in the jungle, and it's got nice like location. They have, spring baths and stuff like that. They even have their own mineral springs. Because I know I watched one video where they were like digging out a part of the building for a building, and they found a spring. So really cool stuff. I'll put the link in the book here because someone's asking me to spell it, so it'd be easier just to pop the link there. But yeah, I consider him like a master herbalist. Honorable Priest Kailash. He actually has a show on YouTube that's pretty cool. He talks about so much stuff. I think it's called Food of Seven, I think. Let's see. Yeah, the Food of Seven.
And he also usually do like weekly Instagram lives where he answers questions. He does most of it is all like calls from like international.
Yeah, he has these the videos on his page. But he also had like a show that he would do on I think it was Calabash TV. That was what it was on. Calabash TV. And he would do, I think it was called because he has a restaurant in St. Lucia.
Nice.
Yeah, that it's like a vegan restaurant. I think he calls it the Food of Seven too. I'm just checking right now the playlist to see. Here, I'll share his page here with the.
You guys have everything. Oh my god.
What do you mean?
Like in terms of like herbs.
In St. Lucia, yeah.
Yeah, like the islands around you guys.
Yes.
As well.
Definitely. I mean, St. Lucia, like we live in an abundance there, and there's so much like just things growing naturally just everywhere. Like, you can pick up mangoes, tamarind stuff, falls from like I would walk into town and there'd be a tamarind tree that I could climb and eat fresh tamarind right from the vine. You know what I mean? And I would do that sometimes because it's like it gives you some energy, and I like the sour tart taste of fresh tamarind. You know, but we would collect that sometimes, and then we would go make a juice out of it. And my buddy would make the tamarind Seamoss drink, which was like badass. Oh, just the local juices alone were amazing.
Which you too.
Yeah, and on the street, everybody's selling coconut water. You can get like a big thing of coconut water for like basically $2 Canadian, 250 Canadian. Like they would sell it like for $5 EC, so it's like half that price. It was like awesome. You could get like a big slice of watermelon on the street. You know what I mean? Like for change.
Yeah.
I loved it there.
That's like your guys' what is it, like street food? No.
From somewhat, yeah, they would have the fresh fruits and stuff as street food. They don't really have too much. Like, I guess their kind of street food would be like barbecue chicken, or I know in the morning. Sorry.
Oh, like appetizers.
Yeah. Well, I know like bakes you would have in the morning. Like they would have fried bakes with saltfish, and you could get like a cocoa tea. That's like their traditional street food breakfast. But I guess as a snack, you would get, what would be good would be fresh local bread with lunch meat and like cheese, or like cheese and like a local bread. And so that would be this like sort of like a French roll that had like two twists on the end, and they would slice in the middle and put the cheese and the butter and stuff in it. But it would be like, because it was freshly made, like it was like hot, and so that would like melt the cheese a little and everything. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, there's no St. Lucian restaurants over here for dishes. I mean.
Yeah, because I mean, here, like down there, like a lot of the food that you would have that would be kind of like considered traditional St. Lucian, it's like traditional for a lot of the Caribbean and stuff. So that would be like any sort of fried fish, or roast fish, stewed fish, or something like that. They'd have ground provisions and a salad. I think the big thing would be for us the salad. We'd always have it with cucumbers, tomatoes, and like a shredded lettuce. Um, I'm just thinking, like one of the traditional foods that they have for Saint Lucia would be saltfish and figs, which is like green bananas. That would be a thing that you don't see too often here. There's no real Saint Lucian style restaurant, although
like Brazilian.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. You're right. I wish there was, because I would love it.
Yeah, likewise.
No, it would be good. But that's the thing, like, the food that would be considered sort of like traditional St. Lucian is traditional to a lot of like Caribbean places. Like it would just be considered like Caribbean food. Maybe not so much like curry goat or curry this. Like they might have some curries, but they'll do like more of like a roast, like a stewed chicken. You know what I mean? Where the chicken's all kind of brown and stuff like that.
Nice.
That would be kind of traditional with them, or like a fish, like steamed fish and stuff, or yeah, that's like for meat wise. You know what I mean? And then their sides are always ground provisions, which is like what the boiled banana, the dasheen, yams, sweet potatoes, that kind of shit.
Okay.
So Matthew is asking me, he's like, I'm curious if you follow a vegan or vegetarian diet in conjunction with the sea moss and herbs. Is there a large Caribbean community in Canada? Yes, there's a large Caribbean community in Canada, and no, I don't follow a vegan diet with the sea moss. Although I do take a lot of sea moss, I don't take as much herbs as I probably could. And I've been thinking about going to the store and getting some like moringa and a few other like herbs. Oh, good to try out. Even just like do like a detox. That's what I need to do, I think.
That meringue is the best thing going.
Yeah, I love moringa. You know, I
So
I I think it's even got more. I believe it's got more benefits than CMOS.
Yeah, I believe that too. And
Mm.
researching and everything, I believe that too.
Yeah, like CMOS is good and everything, but I think like moringa is definitely as equally good. I mean, the seeds can purify water. You know, this all this other stuff that it can do. You know, it can rid your body of parasites and all other kinds of stuff with it. You know, it's got increased, and they call it the tree of life. Like, there's a reason why they call it the tree of life, right?
Yeah, true.
What are you making?
nice.
So,
Soap?
so
Oh, cool.
yeah, that's what
Cold
that's what
press?
you heard in the background. Huh?
Cold press or melting
No,
pour?
this is melting pour. I'm shaving down the base.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been wanting to get into soaps soon.
That's a real hot thing in the with the Seamoss cosmetics. I see a lot of people asking for them, and people want to buy them, like to resell them. You know.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a good market if you have the time to produce it in large quantities to then like wholesale it to other people that will resell it. Especially if you can get like the scents and stuff down. There's really popular with what is it? Lush. There's a company in Canada called Lush that has all these different.
Yeah. Is Lush a Canadian company?
I thought it was. Is it an American company? You never know these days, dude.
I thought it was a UK company. I don't know. I thought it was a UK company, but I'm aware of them. They make some really top end bath stuff.
Let's see. Lush Cosmetics. Yes, Lush Retail is a British cosmetics retailer which is headquartered
Okay.
in Dorset, United Kingdom. It was founded by a trichologist, Mark Costain, and his wife, Costain. They have 951 stores globally. Well,
Okay.
I've seen them, and to me, it's like, you know what? There's nothing special that these guys are really having. It's a bunch of like handmade products done on a mass, like a high scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know that bath bombs are like they look like works of art, like with the glitter and all the stuff. And then
Hmm.
what they do in the bathtub, they put like a mural of colors in the bathtub. You know?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I could see that. But even with these bath bombs, I'd like to see how the Seamoss salt could be incorporated into one of these like bath bombs, or even these like you're looking at these socks with the herbs in them and stuff. Like, that's something
Yes.
that I'm surprised someone hasn't really come up with a product like that, where it's like, the even if it's like a satchel where you scoop it out and it's got some sea moss salt in it, it's got some lavender, some whatever hibiscus. I don't know, dude. I'm not bath bomb guy, but you know what I mean. Like a bunch of herbs and stuff, and then put it into the water, maybe some goat's milk or something like that. You know, like
Yeah. I see bath bombs with some sea salt, with like dead sea salt or Hawaiian sea salt, or regular sea salt in them.
yeah,
Yeah, just on the market because I mean your basic bath bomb is just cornstarch, baking soda, citric acid, and that makes the reaction. And the
okay,
cheapest ones is just that with some essential oil added. Now, once you get to the ones with coconut oil
mm-hmm,
or jojoba oil, the ones with Epsom salt in them, the ones with sea salt, now you start to get therapeutic value.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I could see the Seamoss salt being something that could add a lot of therapy, but I'm actually going to even test it to see what it's like in comparison to sort of like Epsom salts, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you getting it? Are you going to start diversifying as far as the products?
You know, I always talk about it, but in a lot of ways, I haven't done any of it.
Are you okay with the bees? Are you selling honey?
I will be selling honey next year. Yes, this
Okay.
year
All right.
I am not. If you need honey, I could get it just because, like, all my friends are beekeepers now, right? I'm also on the board of one of the biggest beekeeping organizations in Toronto. So they all, and I mean, one of the guys on the board has a bee shop. I can go and get bee honey from them. I was planning to get, and I should follow up on it, but I was supposed to get like a couple barrels of honey from Jamaica from a friend of mine, but he's never sent them to me. So, you know, but
Okay.
but I do have hives in like Toronto, like north of Toronto, and so
Mm-hmm.
the idea is we're gonna launch a company next year called Southern Bees, and we're going to be selling honey and stuff mostly locally in Canada, but I'm sure if you want some honey I can ship some out to you.
Okay. 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 That's
Hmm.
cool. All natural honey. What are you doing? How 16-ounce jars or 32-ounce jars or what? What?
For the honey,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be 250 mil or 500 mil,
Okay. 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 Okay.
and I think
Okay.
the 500 bill might be like about $10 or $15 for the jar. Or we'll have to see. Really, it will come down to like what our costs are and like how much it costs to sell. But the how do you say it? The ultimate goal is to basically start a honey industry in St. Lucia.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all
Okay.
this learning that I'm doing now, me being on this board, me starting this company out here, is really so that I can um, transfer that sort of knowledge and experience into a honey industry in St. Lucia. I think once I master running the business up here and selling honey up here, it'll be a no brainer to sell honey from the Caribbean. I'll just add it
Okay.
to our product lineup, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
the idea is I want to create I have it in my mind, although I'm not going to share the exact details, but it'll be a sort of like a partnership with people of St. Lucia
Mm-hmm.
where, say, you're in St. Lucia and you want to become a bee farmer. I basically will give you all the equipment, all the bees, all the knowledge, everything you need. We'll even, figure out a site location and stuff. And then in return, you give like 80% of your crop to us. And then the other 20% you can keep and sell for yourself.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then that way we satisfy our needs by making sure we recoup our investment, but then also the farmer, it's like, I mean, maybe there'll be a certain quota, like after a certain amount, the rest of the honey is up to you how you want to, because like we want to make sure that we do a business in which we, you know, can get a steady supply of honey, but at the same time, I don't want to create an arrangement where it's like these guys become like slave and worker for the main company. These guys should be able to sell their Seamoss or another Seamoss, their honey, if they want to sell to another person. But we need to make sure that the money that we invest in and we get some kind of return on that, right? So I feel like an 80-20 split is fair, where it's like, if we're supplying you everything you need, if your bees die, we fix your bees, we do all that shit, that we get 80% at a set price, which would probably be like market price or something like that, something fair for both people. Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna have hives down there on the island.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Okay.
But even if you need honey from St. Lucia now, I can facilitate that. Like I'm friends with a lot of I'm friends with one of the only master beekeepers in St. Lucia.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so he
Okay.
sells honey there, and it's probably one of the best honeys on the island. He's very knowledgeable in his practice. You know.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk about the because I saw on the post on Facebook it was a topic for discussion of the like a buyer's protection type group or something like that.
Yeah, we touched on it briefly, but we can always like go back on it again. And I think to sum it up, what we discussed was just that a group of us need to kind of get together and decide what what this group would need to have and stuff. And I was just going over that my challenge is how do I create this group in a way that it's fair and transparent to everybody, but yet, you know what I mean? I not to say I have some control, but you know what I mean? Like I'm going to be the one putting it together. I don't want it to be like looked upon as like Julian said it all, and you know what I mean? Like look, he's gaining from this and stuff like that. Like I do think that I need to get some kind of return for the effort and work that I put into it, right? And that the business needs to make some kind of money in order to keep sustaining. But I feel like as an organization, like if we can get together, we have the power of like a unified voice. You know what I mean? Where it's a group of us now, you know, exerting our influence, our purchasing power, as opposed to an individual. And then another would be just the savings on shipping alone. One of the things I see is a lot of these people are coming direct to the source. Like they'll be like, oh, you know, I want to buy it directly from the supplier or the farmer right from the source, right? Because they feel like they're getting the better price. Now, if they're buying anything less than 100 pounds, they're really not getting the best price because all their, you know, they might get a low price to begin with, but when they add in all the prices and everything, it's gonna like, you know, it's gonna increase that rate. And so my feeling is like, well, why are we giving all this money to the shipping companies that are shipping this product when we could get one shipment in, pay one shipping bill, one customs clearance, one phytosanitary certificate, one, you know what I mean? Like one of everything. Whereas everybody's, you know, doing it on their own and they're all paying their own fee. They're all having to rent their own truck to go to the warehouse, you know what I mean, to pick it up from the plane. All that kind of stuff is time and money. Whereas we could have one group that like brings it in for everybody, sets a kind of price that's fair for everybody, whether you're buying 10 pounds or 1,000 pounds. Because one of the arguments people have is like, well, if I'm buying 1,000 pounds, it's not fair for me to pay the same price as someone that's buying 20 pounds or 10 pounds, right? And what's crazy is that a lot of times when you're buying that 10 pounds, 20 pounds, it's like the fees that they have to pay to bring that in. It's like it would have been cheaper if they had just like, you know, and easier if they had just gotten that person that was bringing the larger quantity in to kind of add it to their ship. You know what I mean? Like to consolidate it that way. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
No, I mean I like it more for just to figure out who's who and not like who the legitimate people are. You know, that was my main thing versus the guys, the scammers and stuff like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but so what? I mean, so I kind of lost you because I was busy at the same time. But when you said, what were you saying as far as was like a collective import type thing or what? When you were talking about that
Yeah.
with the FDA and the customs and all that.
Yeah. So the one idea was to bring it on all in through one person that would then redistribute it to everybody to save on the costs on the logistics and to also ensure that the quality, there's a certain quality or even like a grading so that you know you're paying the appropriate price for the value of the product that you're getting, because sometimes people are paying um like prices, a grade prices, but they're getting B grade product. You know what I mean? So how do you avoid that? How do you ensure that you're, you know what I mean? Because you might have bought more CMOS if it was like priced appropriately. You know what I mean? And you'd probably be
Uh-huh.
able to sell it better if you understood what you were getting. You know, and
Yeah.
so it's those kind of things. One thing I think have an idea about, and I'm figuring out how to structure it, is to do like a CMOS review board and kind of put it separate from the buyers club and make it so that you know, people can come in and sort of, you know, relay their experiences on particular vendors or have agreements. But my sort of I don't know. One of my challenges is like, how do we like verify the information? Like, what's to stop someone who's disgruntled for whatever reason and trying to, you know, make that company look bad? Like even earlier, there was a post on the Buyers Club where the guy was calling this one company, you know, on like not good for business and this and that, and it turned out the guy like was messaging the wrong person. You know what I mean? And so like that could have been, you know, potentially damaging to her business if it got on a review and it stuck and people believed what that person had said.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's sort of like a little bit of a challenge like that. Matthew just said, would that be broken down with maybe a state representative or an area representative? I mean, it could be, you know what I mean? You know, but I know this, if I could amass a group of people together to which we said, look, we're all going to go buy collectively. I know that I can work deals with various groups in St. Lucia to make sure that there's a certain level of quality and a consistency of the product. And like the product, it would be a matter of you like ordering it and getting it in 2 days, as opposed to waiting for that person to, you know, tally it all up and, you know, box it and put it on a plane and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah. And most times these guys like say you have a buyer and I have a buyer in St. Lucia, a lot of times they know who each other are and they're sharing deals with each other. So if I call one day and say I got 500 pounds, I need to buy 500 pounds, your guy might, my guy might call your guy to get a couple 100 pounds off them because they know that he's got it. And there's, you know what I mean? Like they do work with each other, but a lot of times they don't know who's the buyer, who the buyer's for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess to me, it's like, you know, as long as they got paid right, there shouldn't be any problem with them all just putting their CMOS all to one place and getting it shipped together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then getting it resold. It probably would
Yeah.
sell better and faster that way.
Yeah.
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 But they're not going to do that until they see us organized on this side, where we come as a group. And that's another thing that I see that having this group can be is like, well, we can work it so that, you know, the CMOS that comes in has certain serial numbers and shit like that, so that it has traceability, which, you know, us dealing with an independent farmer, you can't get that sort of level of accountability. You know what I mean? Because there's some people that are trying to get insurance on their company, you know what I mean, to protect them, say making gel or whatever, and they can't do that because they when the insurance company, the underwriter company, is asking like, well, where are you getting it from? It's just some regular dude, you know what I mean, and he's drying the CMOS in his backyard. It's not like in a building with a corporate structure and stuff like that. Like most of these guys don't have registered
Right.
businesses, you know.
So you, in order to get the registration, your business registration to cover your products, it has to be coming from like an actual registered company.
Well, I think for insurance companies to sort of underwrite your product, they want to see that it's coming from like a legitimate business that has like a location, and they might have to be FDA registered or something like that, so that if there's a way to come back on you, or like say there's a problem with your product and they need to trace where it came from, it's not some, you know, dude that you spoke to off Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like eventually we need to get like everybody needs to get to that point where we're running a legitimate business and it's not a hustle. Like it's like it's going to grow to that, you know. And
Do you know any farmers down there that are registered on the FDA's website?
not specifically. I know that there are a couple out there, but they're very few,
Because
right?
they don't really understand it coming from down there.
Well,
But yeah,
it's expensive to even get the registration, right? So I would assume,
no. Well, on this side, it was free for me. I don't know for down there because they can come on as a farmer. There's a thing for registration to where you could be on there as a farmer and not even an actual like an established building and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean it's complex. I had to do mine for my company to bring stuff in, so I only know that side of it. That's free. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Well, I think what it is probably is you're falling under the different jurisdictions where you're, because CMOS and the way it's coming from the farmer, it's considered like an agricultural product. You then
Uh-huh.
follow up under the United States Department of Agriculture and not the federal, the Food Administration Agency.
What part did? Because I still had to register with them and do the prior notice and all that under the FDA coming in.
Okay, I don't know. I'll have to look at it, but I know when I talked to one broker about bringing in the product, he was like, "Yeah, you don't really need to have an FDA number because you're not bringing in a finished food product. You're bringing in the ingredient. You know what I mean? The main ingredient, and it's like a farm vegetable. It's like bringing in
Uh-huh.
tomatoes because
Uh-huh.
we pulled it out of the water and put it in a box, and we didn't add anything to it, or we didn't like run it through a machine or something like that. It's not
Hmm.
considered like an actual food product. It's an agricultural product. It's like corn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did when you doing the whole thing through a broker? None of it. You didn't do any of it yourself as far as the registration for the
In
import.
in in the United States, I never cleared it on my own. I always used a
Okay.
broker.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Canada, I've cleared it on my own several times. It was
Okay.
nerve wracking. I hated it, and now I use a
Yeah.
broker. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Rio Two Tone says maybe out there, but have you found thought about starting a crypto fund that does he CMOS honey? That's interesting. No, I've never thought about a crypto fund. I have thought about doing like a Kickstarter to fund an initiative with either the bees or something with the CMOS and stuff. Another thing I explored was when the groups get big enough, can I go to a company like Body Glove or something and get them to like donate um, wetsuits or something like that I can give away for free. You know what I mean? Kind of utilize the amount of people that are in the group as an attention to capture. You know what I mean? Because that's what corporations love, right? So I've thought about that, but I just haven't acted on it. Yeah, otherwise, you would still increase this. Would that be broken down with maybe state representative areas? Because otherwise, you would still incur large shipping fees. Cheaper to get a package from AA than a large package from UPS or DHL. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. And does American Airlines ship directly to your door, or do you have to get it
Where
packaged?
in the states, American Airline is cargo at the airport.
Yeah, you got to pick it up.
Hmm.
See, and that's the thing. It's like right there. You're unless you have a big enough truck, you're spending about $100 just to rent the van
Hmm.
to go pick
Yep.
it up. And then there's gas and stuff like that. I mean, shipping can be expensive, but at the same time, I think I can ship 200 pounds for like $75 or something like that. It's not that much.
From down, you're talking about internationally or locally?
Well, me shipping from Canada to say Boston, it's about I think $100. Let me just check and see what my because I
To
have a
ship how
few
many pounds? 200 pounds?
100 pounds,
Okay. Okay.
but even
Okay.
I think I have a 200 pound order. I can check to see. how much the shipping was. Let me just check. Uh, make sure I'm not sharing my screen so you guys see all my customer information. Yeah, I just shipped a pound, 100 pounds, $75 it cost. And let me see, 200 pounds. You know what? I didn't. I included the shipping with that, so I don't know how much the shipping was. But I think even 200 pounds is not that much. It's probably about $130 or so. Yeah. I pay 120 USPS to ship a 50-pound order a few states away. You know what you need to get, bro, Matthew? You need to get on Pirate Ship. If you're paying $120 USPS to ship 50 pounds, that's too much. I know I don't pay that much to ship 50 pounds, and I'm in Canada, and I'll ship it USPS or UPS.
Pirate Ship got USPS and UPS on there.
Yeah, they just added USPS. Yeah, Pirate Ship's awesome. But I think they only work in the States that I know of. But there
Oh,
are.
they don't.
Huh?
Okay. They don't work in Canada.
No, I'll have to double check now because now that they have USPS, because see, they don't have USPS in Canada, right? And before, that's all they did, Pirate Ship. So I should check them out. I have them um, on my Shopify. So I don't know. I'll check them. That's a good question. Because if I can get cheap rates on UPS from Canada to these guys, that would be amazing. It'd be really lovely, really really good. Yeah, I'll have to when I get time. I'll set that up and test it out. Yeah, see, that's why it was a rush. That's why, because Matthew says I am on Pirate Ship. It was a rush shipping for this customer, and that's probably why you paid the extra like overnight fee or whatever. Oh, excuse me, whatever the cost may be. You know, but yeah, I guess there might even be two sides to creating this organization. One being somewhere where you can get the CMOS from the group, or you can get it from a list of vendors that maybe we've vetted and improved, like approved. I want to say approved, more vetted. Like these guys are good for this. You know what I mean? Like we've made sure they know how to ship, they know how to do quality product, they have integrity, that kind of thing. And that if there's a problem, that we can reach out to them and be kind of like, hey, you know what I mean? This guy, one of our members is not happy with the CMOS, because I think one of the things too, if we do create this kind of like association or group or whatever, there almost has to be some kind of buyer protection where they buy the CMOS and they're made sure that if there's a problem they can send it back. You know what I mean? And not be sort of taken. Or if there's a discrepancy in, say, the weight or the shipment, that someone will step in as a middleman to kind of facilitate, mediate the discussion. You know what I mean? The problem, because you need to have someone sort of in between to kind of settle the argument of whatever argument there is. Whenever there is one. That's my sort of thought. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's definitely necessary. I mean, as the game's getting more and more saturated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely there needs to be some kind of like standards in place. Even if you don't want to buy, say, from the group, you can go buy your, you know what I mean? But it's almost like you're on your own if you go buy from these people and you don't buy from, I don't know. I definitely don't want to create a list for the buyers club. Do you know what I mean? Like whatever we do this, it almost has to operate independently. That I want to make it so that it's like I always want to keep the buyers club sort of open where, anybody that wants to start their business can, what I mean, go out and start their business. I want to create like a two-tiered system where it's like these are the approved vendor, you know what I mean? Because there's groups like that already, and I don't agree with them. You know, I should be able to come out there and do good business and stand on my own, merits or whatever. I don't know. See, that's where I'm like, kind of like, almost like I want to do something, but at the same time, I figure it's just, maybe it's better I just don't do anything and let the market take care of itself. Yeah, I don't know. So Matthew says here, he says, makes sense. I don't want people getting ripped off. It's bad for the business. Yeah, that I agree. And sometimes it's not even like them getting ripped off. What I've seen happen a few times is it was just miscommunication. You know what I mean? One person expected one thing, and the other person expected another, and they didn't meet in the middle. You know what I mean? And it's not like this person intentionally set off to do that other party wrong. It was like the way it worked out, you know what I mean? And sometimes you can't fix these problems. I don't know. So I don't even know where I was going with that. Be the Kanye of the Seamoss, I'll back you. So what does that mean to be the Kanye of the Seamoss? Because don't people not? I thought Kanye was like kind of like a troll or something. Not a lot of people like that. I always saw Kanye as that guy that was that geek who finally made it, and like he's got all this fame in the world, but he's still a geek inside, and he really just doesn't know how to handle all this attention. That's how I see Kanye, honestly. You know what I mean? But he's definitely one person to see the to look at the power of manifestation. Because if you watch interviews of people that first met him and what he was saying, it was like he was determined to be a star. He was determined to get to where he is right now. And he wasn't going to let people stop him, even if they thought he was a joke or crazy or whatever. He just set his mind to it, and I believe that is, anything you want, you set your mind to it, you can build what you believe in. It's the, how do you say it, it's like how much energy do you have, how much do you really want it, you know what I mean? I read some proverb or some story about like this monk guy that brought the guy in the water, and he kept bringing him out to the point where the water was in his head, and like he couldn't breathe, like he had to struggle to like breathe. And he's like, this is how badly you want it, you want it so badly that you're willing to drown, to almost drown to get it, you know what I mean? That's when you get successful, you know?
I know what you're talking about. He said something like, when you want success as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. That's one of my favorite quotes, man. But yeah, go ahead though.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. And when I watch people who are successful and those who aren't, and especially those who aren't successful but can't understand why they're not, it's usually that's what they're doing. Like I'll look and be like, "Well, what'd you do last night?" "Oh, I watched Netflix and I watched my favorite TV." Like, what?
Right, right,
Like you had time to watch Netflix?
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Success is one hard thing to achieve. Like you only got a certain amount of hours in a day to be successful. If you taking the time out to watch.
Yeah. Like think about my day today, right? I got up at early in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. I read some books. I read my Bible. I got ready for church. I was at church all day till like 3 o'clock. I drove people home from church. I came home. I like did some more reading, caught up on some news in St. Lucia, checked orders, checked what I got to do for tomorrow. Then kind of loosely planned what I wanted to talk about tonight. Took a nap, got up. You know what I mean? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're talking about Seamoss. Do you know what I mean? It's these people in the room right now. These are the ones that are the difference from the other ones. You know what I mean? And it's almost like the ones that aren't making the sales and stuff. If they're not in this room or they're not trying to do something similar to this, then that's the reason why you're not successful. That's it. Full stop. Like Sean, you can attest. Like you're putting your stuff, your every chance you get, you're trying to put stuff in the CMOS into people's faces.
Bro, I lost connection.
Huh?
Man.
You lost the connection?
Put them to my house. We stay in the boondocks, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, I got connected to my Wi-Fi, and I kind of lost.
Well, I was just showing off like your dedication and how you're constantly always trying to put the CMOS into everybody's face, and you know what I mean. Like you have that drive and that energy, and that the people in these rooms and the people that come on these lives to learn this stuff, it's like you guys are. You know what I mean. It's like, how do I put it? It's like the people that aren't in this room when they're not doing well, it's like because you don't have this energy or this drive to be all about CMOS.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yep. So yeah, I don't know if I want to be the Kanye of CMOS, but I definitely want to help do what I can to help create an environment where the buyers have more confidence in investing more money and more of their time into this, and then the farmers ultimately get the fair wage and share that they should deserve. You know what I mean? I feel at this point in time, the market price is so low, and these guys are working almost twice as hard as they used to be to make the same dollar.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like when you look at what it's for, it's like what? So these guys can have an extra couple dollars on their gel. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to be rude, but that's the truth. And then they're not. And when you do the math, they're not really they're like. If you just sold 2 or 3 more jars, you could afford to pay more money for this CMOS. A $5 difference in a pound only represents like 32 cents on the jar. Do you know what I mean? Like add 32 cents more if that's the problem. Like we've had to drop our price from $42 when we first started till now it's $39. Do you know what I mean? And it's because like we have to stay competitive. But that comes at the cost of the CMOS fire. Because now the market price is lower. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I seen prices that are like I sell my gels a jar of golden sea moss $20. I looked at some people's website was $60. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, but there are people that are out there. I didn't know people was buying it for that much, but they are spending that much. So I see it's possible.
Right.
But I guarantee you that those people that are selling it for $60, they're probably selling a third amount of jars as you are. And making less.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like you may be charging less, but because you're selling more, you're making actually more money. Whereas I
seen it's a demographic thing as well too, because like I said, I'm in Mississippi. The person I was talking about, there was in California, and she was like, yeah, you're definitely lowballing yourself. You should definitely go up on your prices. I was like, oh, okay, then.
Yeah.
And just look at things differently.
And here's the thing, I'm okay, like, I understand if someone wants to charge $100 for their jar or whatever their time, but when they go to the farmer and be like, yeah, can you give it to me for $15? Awa, the fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like 15
Right.
bucks, and you're making these guys, these farmers check the price of the Seamoss. Like when they're selling to a guy, they'll go on the guy's website and see what they're selling. You know what I mean? And I think that's why some of these guys get taken too. It's because these guys get mad and they're just like, "What the fuck, man? This guy's selling it for $80, and he's getting 20 pounds off me, and he's breaking my balls over $3
Oh
over
man.
having to pay Western Union or PayPal or something, like, you know what I mean? Like some of these guys complain about the fees on Western Union, and it's like, when you're adding it all up, it's like, dude, what is it? Adds an extra 25 cents to your pound. You're selling it for $40.
Mhm.
Sell it for $40.50. Problem solved. Do you know what I mean?
At 50 cents on there, problem solved.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. That's my view. I think we're putting too much pressure on the farmers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely want to get out there one day and come out there and get in the water and go scuba diving and see exactly what it takes to what they're doing.
You have to, dude.
Mhm.
There is something about spending time in the water and touching that live sea moss and feeling it is unlike no other. And just being in that warm water with all that life and activity and the fish moving around and stuff like that.
I got a
It's
quick question.
yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned something about the feel and the touch of sea moss. Now, I've been noticing sometimes whenever I soak my golden sea moss and I soak my purple and my green sea moss, the texture of the gold and the purple and the green are different whenever I soak. It's almost like um, the golden sea moss is a little bit more slippery, and the purple and the green is a little bit more. You know how you rub your fingers together, you feel that friction a little bit.
uh,
Have anybody noticed anything like that, or is it just me?
Maybe it's just you. Although I haven't really soaked anything beyond gold lately. Um,
Okay.
the color is going to have it tends to be a little bit more dirtier than the gold, because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go through a the bleaching process. When you do it through
Right.
the bleaching process, it actually, like, a lot of moisture comes off of the sea moss, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of liquid that, like, gets run off on it, and so that could contain a lot of the sand or something else that makes it gritty. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. Mhm.
no problem. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. So, is
Oh
there
yeah, I
any?
got a question. What about that black sea moss? What kind of benefits do you get from that? Is it the same benefits as the regular sea moss, or
No
I know you
idea.
answered this last time. Oh yeah.
No idea, because I haven't really gotten much black sea moss. Now, I've gotten purple sea moss where bits of the purple sea moss look really black, but no one's come to me and said, "Yeah, this is black sea moss." Blah blah blah. I've
Okay.
more
Okay.
just heard it through the groups and stuff.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be interesting to see. I have a feeling that the black sea moss is really like a super dark purple sea moss, and that it
Yeah.
would be. Sorry.
I said that's what I heard it was. When I asked about it down there to the couple farmers down there on the island, I mentioned they said they just feel like it's super dark purple, but
Yeah.
they don't think it's like something extraordinary that they've heard about it or seen it, something like that. But that's
Hmm.
their thing is that it's just some really dark purple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because when you first, like, dry the purple in the dark, it can go really, really black, and then you put
Oh.
it in the sun and it will lighten up a bit.
Mm.
But it's like a black, like a super dark purple that looks practically black. Hmm. Hmm.
Cool.
But yeah, definitely come down there. Try to spend a few weeks if you can. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see if there was a way that we could create some kind of like Ross
Go
kid.
fund me.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
A GoFund
Go
you?
fund me a trip.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see if the group will do it. You know what I mean? You have to do things and like shit for them in exchange for the trip or something. You know
I
how
want to cut
GoFundmes
you
have
off, though,
like
man.
reward prizes or stuff.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to cut you out though, but I just got excited. I get excited easy.
No, but I was thinking about building like it would be cool to have some kind of like Seamoss village or retreat where you could
Oh,
go there.
ooh,
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
it kind of like live like with very like no frills life and just like be about the Seamoss and then even like go work for Seamoss farmers.
All right, so let me ask you, how much would it take for, say, one person to go and spend a week down there?
How much would it cost you?
Yeah, if you can just give me a roughly number.
I seen the round trip tickets about 3 weeks ago for around 500 on Delta, and
Okay.
I'm in Southern California, so I don't know about the the what you call it, like the housing thing. I mean, I was looking at Airbnbs and stuff down there, but I do remember the ticket. The
Mm-hmm.
That was like maybe a month in advance. That's about what it ran.
All right.
You could
Right.
you could probably get a decent one bedroom place for like 500 for the month US.
Wow.
That's nice.
Yeah.
500 for a month.
500
Yeah.
for tickets for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so you could get a month for there and then I think your food and all your expenses if you went to the grocery store, your food for say the month might cost you like $100, $200
Hmm.
US. Yeah, $200 US would probably like I'd say for the month you'd probably spend. I'll say this: when I was living there, I was getting like a stimulus check from the government, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of trapped down there and I couldn't work, and
Mm-hmm.
the check was like $2,000 Canadian, and so that's maybe about 1,600 US, and I was living like a king there.
Wow.
Yeah, with like we were paying for a rental car, eating out every day, drinking. You know, what I mean? Like I didn't have to pay for any accommodation, but like the cost of living is very cheap.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're making like 350 an hour down there, Julian, or what?
yeah, something like that. 350. I think the monthly income, the average monthly income is about 2,000 to 3,000 EC, and if you were to convert that into US, let's say you are XCD.
Okay.
So let's say like $2,000 EC. That's $740 US. So I'd say like not including your airfare, you'd probably need maybe about $1,000 US for every month that you're down there.
Do you got to walk around with EC, or can you walk around spending with U.S. currency?
You can spend US currency, but you'll get ripped.
Mm. Yeah.
They'll mess you up on the conversion all the time.
Okay.
Every place you go to when you're buying, they'll mess you up on the conversion.
For the most part, because most of them will. I think the conversion is pegged at
37.
it's at 2.67, but then you'll get an average of 2.5 on the rate. So it's not much, but like
2.67. Okay, so that's per American dollar. 2.67 XCD or EC,
yeah.
whatever.
So
Okay.
one US dollar. I'm on this currency site right now. I'll tell you, it is one US dollar. Yeah, one US dollar is $2.70 Eastern Caribbean dollar. And so if you went to a store, they give you $2.50.
Nice.
But you can get 2 beers down there for $5 EC, or I think it's $6 now. They have these stuff bright and still bright. So $2, what is it, $6? So you could get a beer for like $1.10 US.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's like $1.50 a beer, let's say, on average. That's cheap.
Yeah, you're gonna have me on Facebook starting a GoFund account. Don't think I won't.
Yeah. So Rio Two Tone says, "Do you think the moonlight does something different from the sunlight?" Probably. I mean, a lot of people are talking about how they dry this the sea moss and the moon and stuff like that. I know that just the night and the moon and stuff is very spiritual time. Like I know when I
Right.
was what?
I said right, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy because I used to like before I used to go to bed, I would sit out and just meditate to the moon before falling
Right.
asleep and watch like the shooting stars and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Well, not to jump off subject, but it's on subject. It's kind of going on right now as we speak. The full moon is in Jupiter right now.
Yeah.
And I sat out some moon water last night and did one of my meditation things, stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed the moon's been very, very strong lately. Saw it last
I
night.
went outside tonight. It was a ring around the moon, like almost like
an
a
aura.
halo.
Wow,
That was crazy.
that's interesting. I'll have to go check that out later. Yep. So yeah, usually the moon is usually for healing and sun is generally for charging. I would choose sun kissed any day.
Mm-hmm.
And the moon is harmonious with the water. Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else you guys you want to talk about with Seamoss? No.
I got some random stuff.
I know sometimes he gets like all over the topics that it's like, okay, what do we talk about? Like, it seems like we talked about everything. Yeah.
I know you were saying something. I know I talk a lot. Sometimes I talk over myself, make myself look bad. But you said that the farmers are not getting paid as much. But once you said something about that convert the American dollars to the their currency, maybe it kind of works out for them in a certain right way. But maybe it's not still enough due to their how much work they're putting into it, though.
Well, yes, and here's the thing: like, it seems like a lot for some of these sales, but sometimes this sale, it's like that's the only sale they'll have that month or for the next 3 months.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah, because not a lot of people are buying on a regular, consistent basis, right? And so there's more people almost selling Seamoss at times than there are buying it, and there are a few of them that are doing consistent sales, but there's a lot that aren't. And so there's there's the work plus, like I think there was a Hurricane Ida or Isa, like
right,
yeah, decimated everybody's Seamoss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everybody that had Seamoss, it got knocked off from their farms, and it was floating in the water, and people were all kinds of people were picking up the Seamoss.
Yeah, I had a friend. She told me that the hurricane came and a lot of Seamoss just washed up. It was just selling for like it was a point of time on the buyer's plug and the Seamoss plug. I mean, they would have everybody was selling Seamoss for like cheap, you know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's all from, and a lot of those same people that were selling it cheap, they weren't really farmers. Like there's even some farmers that some of them that are selling Seamoss and they've never put a stick in the water. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah. And so some of them don't even know how to dry it properly and stuff. Like there was a lot of I guess you would say Seamoss that we would reject that we would
Right.
later see being sold in another way. You know?
Yeah, 'cause that's what one of my friends told me. Like, yeah, it might be cheap, but then you got to think about how they're processing because it might not be that grade A that you want to get.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's something that I'm hoping with getting like a kind of like an organization going. It's like, you know, there it would be harder to hide the grades of the CMOS, whereas someone is thinking, oh, you paid like the $25 I charge for CMOS is not the same CMOS that you would get everywhere else. You know what I mean? Like you may like pay $15 for that CMOS, but it's like night and day compared to the CMOS that I'm selling for 20. Do you know what I mean? And if you
Right.
looked at them, you'd say, "Oh fuck, I'll spend the $20 on this thing because this other stuff looks like shit." You know?
What's the difference down there as far as like the grades? Is it the stuff with the black sunspots on it, or like what is the difference between the inferior and the superior stuff down there in St. Lucie?
Yeah, I try not to get too much discussion on the grades because one, I'm not a grade expert. Two, I don't want to, you know, mess up any other people's. As much as I want to protect buyers, at the same time, it's kind of like it's not for me. It's kind of like a conflict of interest for me to be selling CMOS and then showing you guys like how I think the CMOS should look. You know what I mean?
Okay. Because you think it's just subject to your personal bias, basically, or what?
It would be, but it also would. It could potentially hurt other people's businesses. Like I don't know. I've just learned, like from my experience, that you don't want to. You want to talk about your stuff. You don't want to talk shit about other people's stuff.
True.
You know. So I don't know. I know this. I can say clearly, it's an obvious thing that the black spots, you know, and a high concentration of them, because even grade A CMOS, you're going to get the occasional black pieces here and there, right? But when it's riddled with it, like it's all in it, and there's like no hiding it. Like you look at it, it's like it's there. That is definitely what would be classified as B grade, and it's like
Okay.
a third of what they would charge for, say, the A grade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe even a quarter. Like it's like this stuff they just throw in the garbage most times. It's just like, you know, I mean, they don't even give it, or they'll give it to their animals or something.
Oh, speaking of animals, now I don't know if I know I probably haven't invented nothing that hasn't been done for the sun.
Hmm?
But my dog has hot spots, right? On his ears. It's all white people, and I've been giving her, sea moss and putting it on her ears, and all of a sudden her hair is growing back. So I was thinking about doing
Wow,
a product, put it out there. I'm thinking about going and making a product for animals, about for the sea moss next. So
you should. I think that there's definitely a market for not only like what you're saying, like the hot spots, because it's good for their skin and their hair, but also like in their food, like adding like an additive to their animal food. But then also guys have done it where, you know, when the dog goes to the washroom in the backyard and he kind of leaves those brown patches and stuff. This guy told me that he uses the water that he has from soaking the sea moss on those areas, and he's noticed an improvement in his lawn quality.
oh, are you serious?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's crazy what sea moss does, you know. But yeah, I would explore that definitely pet food because that's a huge market.
What? Okay. You know me. I promise you. I have one up there soon because I'm already been venturing in that field because what I'll do is I'll make a big batch of Seamoss,
Mm-hmm.
and I will have it in a Ziploc bag. And I just been putting it in my dog food and stirring it up as
Mm-hmm.
well and put it on there. So yeah, I've been seeing some differences. But how do I market that to a product where I can sell it to people who aren't paying buku? But I don't know.
Yeah.
I figure it out.
Yeah, you might have to market it sort of like an additive, like, mix this in with your food, with your dog's food, 2 tablespoon or this and that, and maybe it has some kind of other oils in it or something that are good for the dog.
Oh man, now see,
That's
you're on something. You're on
my
something.
my business partner in a Seamoss company has a dog that's like ancient, and he's been giving the dog Seamoss gel in his food, and the dog, it's like the dog is like night and day without Seamoss as far as
Are you serious?
yeah, and he's been giving his dog Seamoss now. I'd say probably 5 6 months, you know. And the
Man,
dog is like almost blind and all that type of stuff, but the dog is incontinent without CMOS.
Wow.
are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. Next time he's been in here before. Next time I have him talk about that, but yeah, he's like night and day when he's off the CMOS gel, and he just puts it in his food. Hmm.
Man, I'm gonna make a batch for this guy I know and see does his dog turn around like that.
Yeah.
Cause
Even
he's
I
like old, ancient, like you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
imagine if you threw in some moringa and some like CBD in the mix.
Oh man, I've been looking for a good wholesale price on CBD oil.
Yeah.
Get at me in the back channel, bro, because we actually do CBD on the website in our cosmetics for the CMOS, but I got the lines on that. You
Okay.
trying to get isolator oil or anything like that?
All right, I got you. I'm gonna follow you and check back with you on that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm new to this app thing, but yeah, I figure it out soon.
I think there's a
It's
way to
like
message people using is it the
I see
arrow?
it. I
Yeah,
see
that
it.
arrow.
Yeah, and then you write it, and then you could select the person,
Got you.
and then
Got it.
here I'll send you a message just so you see how it
All right,
looks.
cool.
Boom.
I don't need. All right. Okay. Yeah, I see you right there. Yeah. Yeah. I just joined this club thing, and this is all new. But yep.
Oh yeah, Clubhouse is pretty cool. I've been on it for a while, and I feel like it's a good option for those that want to get in on the conversation, but are
Right.
not able to or not comfortable showing their video.
Yeah, man. I seen you on here, and I went crazy, man. I said, "What? My guy's over here. I gotta go ahead and follow him right now." For real.
Mm. Yeah, I got on it a year ago, and I was on it like hard all the time, and then I stopped going on it. Oh, I had some funny moments in the Clubhouse, especially like arguing with like different people in the arguments about CMOS and stuff. One one time, I don't know, like, dude, I'll say this: I'm fucking passionate when it comes to CMOS, and I'm passionate when it comes to the truth. And when I
Facts.
hear some of the stuff that these people are saying, I'm trying to sell to market the CMOS, and the fact that I see it ultimately hurting these farmers, right? In the end,
Mm-hmm.
it's like
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have the ability to stand up and say what's going on, right? So I'll
Mm-hmm.
always kind of like argue for that point, right? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that makes me come across the troll. And one time I was like, um, going in on it about someone, and this girl, and then like the whole room turned on me and started attacking me, right? So I had to
Man.
kind of like backpedal and be like, well, I'm not an asshole, and I'm not this and this. And then as I'm talking, I don't know what came over me, but I started looking into her profile, and then I went on her Instagrams again. So as I'm apologizing and trying to make amends, I started trolling her on her Instagram. So the girl's like, you're full of shit. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you're trying to act like you're apologizing, but you just wrote some stupid shit. I'm like, why did you write this on my Instagram? And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, it was like my subconscious took over and was like, the minerals don't come from a rock, it comes from the ocean. Oh, it was so funny. I looked like such an ass. Like, it was, but
It happens to the best of us.
yeah, but then I was like, what could I say? I was like, what do you want me to say? You put some stupid shit on your thing. I couldn't help but comment on it.
Man, yeah. One guy called me out on my Facebook page. I had to go and rechange the status on there because I was saying something about the more Seamoss you take, the better benefits you get, and the more you feel.
Yeah.
And he went into this big thing about the less is more because people got like different kind of medical conditions and stuff like that, as far as like hyperthyroid or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, let me go change my status because you got those guys that fact check you real quick.
Oh shit, yeah. But I mean, what is really true? Like, he does have some points. Some people do have an overactive thyroid, but you should know that. And even if I am telling you, like, take all the Seamoss you want, if you know your Seamoss, you should know that that doesn't apply. Like, you can't make comments that apply to everybody. Like, someone's always going to get excluded at some point. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people that eat a lot of Seamoss.
Yeah.
Like, talk to Kirby.
Right.
Right?
I'm warming something up right now with coffee.
Yeah. But this guy Kirby, I think he told me he takes like anywhere between 16 to 32 ounces in a day of Seamoss.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
That's
the guy, pardon? What'd you say, Maria?
I was just saying that's what I like about going with conjures. We really do have to be careful with that. But I love Seamoss for him.
You said the Chandras, you really got to be careful?
Yeah, no, you can't be doing that with conjures.
You can't be taking too much.
Is Conjure stronger? Is it to you when you take it than the ones from Gracillary?
Yeah. Wait, sorry, what's the question?
Is it Conjures when you take the Chandra? Do you notice it to be stronger than the Gracillary or the Uchima coming out of St. Lucian in the Caribbean?
Yeah, definitely, and like other people have too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're
I
like
always wondered that.
Amazing.
Yeah, I always wondered that because I still haven't tried Chandra's Christmas. I mean, I know how the Caribbean, the different color ones and the gold ones from down there, how well it works, but I haven't tried the Chandra, so I always wondered how it compared to those, you know. So, do you need less Chandras on a daily basis?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it seems like the Condorus. I've never tried it myself, but it seems from looking at it, it's more of a dense product, even when you're blending it.
My friend.
Pardon?
It's waiting for you.
I know. I was looking. I have it at the warehouse. I was looking at it the other day. I was like, man, I've had this thing for so long. I've never once did it. You know what I mean? So I have to try it. You know what? I think I'm gonna bring some back to you and get you to make me. I'm scared to make the gel. That's, I think, part of the problem.
Yeah, it's different with the conjures as well. So I should have just done that. I should have just asked you first, really.
Yeah,
but it's nice to actually see it as well.
But it was a nice surprise, trust me. And no one has yet to give me such a nice gift as you have. So you're definitely up there compared to, like, all my other customers are shit compared to you.
You're like gonna
No one gives me gifts.
You're gonna clip the slide, you know.
But Sean, hey, you had to see it, Todd. Like, it was a shock. Like, I don't know if she remembers the look on my face, but I was like, kind of like, I didn't even know what to say because it was like, she's like, oh, here's this for you, and I was like, oh, for me, like, whoa.
I opened it, was just like, why is this happening right now?
Yeah.
You look kind of mad.
I was just shocked, you know,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what to say, and I was kind of like, you know, just taken back by everything. But it was nice, and she gave me the Condor's Crispus and is it pronounced San Paulo?
Oh, Palo Santo.
Palo Santos, the incense stick. I love burning that stuff.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
relaxing.
So
We all do that in our life.
yeah, I really enjoy that. Yeah, the Santo Palo. So, what were we talking about?
Oh, of how like a person can just have like unlimited golden sea moss.
Oh yes, that was it. And then we got into the Condor's Christmas, and you have to be careful with that and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
What? So you said they could just have unlimited gold and sea moss?
Well,
That's what people are doing. Actually. Yeah.
I wouldn't say unlimited, but you could definitely take more than I take more than the 2 to 4 tablespoons that they recommend. But I also say you have to listen to your body when you're taking it. You know, don't go from 0 to 5 ounces in a day. You'll go crazy. Yeah.
I went.
Yeah, I have sleep problems.
You've had sleep problems?
No, when you take a lot of it, like it's like you don't even be sleeping right. That's what happens for me. You know what I mean? I'll be up after 4 hours and I'm wide awake.
Yes, it's like so much energy.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
I know one time I was doing the flavors for everyone, and I just had some extra flavors, and I wind up eating a whole jar, and I thought I was gonna get like all the games in the world, but the only thing that really happened was it's kind of too much information, but just think about when you eat a lot of green vegetables, what happened?
Yep. You have a washout.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
No,
what.
but
Sorry.
people need to hear that.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying, like, people need to hear that because people actually do not have any bowel movements. Like, they'll have one bowel movement, like, every other day.
Yeah, really regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to gross anyone out. You know what I mean? Yeah, my nephew, he took like a whole jar, and he has like he has asthma, and then my sister, she checked his oxygen level. His oxygen level went up too. So
Wow.
So yeah, I guess it could be beneficial, but just like you said, watch your pay attention to your own body.
Yeah, always listen to your body and take it like in stages, like work up to that amount. You know what I mean? I find that, and I was reading it in this manual about the Seamoss earlier, is that for people that don't take Seamoss on a regular basis, it's hard for your body to assimilate it. But over time, your body develops that ability to absorb it and digest it better. Yeah. What time is it there for you, Sean? Your kid's up late, man. Is that the Seamoss?
Yeah, we're eating Seamoss gummies as we speak. And it is 12:39 here.
Oh, okay, so it's not that late. We're an hour ahead.
Yeah, man. He's always up with me.
That's cool. He sounds real smart, like really active.
Very active.
Yeah. How old is he?
He's like 18 months.
Oh wow, yeah. Talker.
Yeah, you should see him do push-ups with me. It'll make you crack up, man.
I can imagine, like that. Like he just wants to be just like Daddy.
Right.
Yeah. That's the best. That's the best.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Well, I don't know if you guys, if there's nothing you guys want to talk about Seamoss. I guess we could end it early. I mean, I actually said a hard stop at 1 o'clock, but then I was like, "Fuck it, everybody's here, still talking." You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm kind of like thinking in my head. Sorry, were you gonna say something, Maria?
I'm just gonna say I'm about to be out of here, man. I'm gonna put him to sleep. Give him a nice bath. We're gonna call it a night. Check with you tomorrow, man.
Okay, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I think maybe we should kind of wrap it up a little bit early. I have been talking for 3 hours and 45 minutes on CMOS, but yeah. So, unless do you guys have any other questions before I get going?
I don't. But
No. All right. Well, thank you so much, Todd and Maria, for hanging out with me, and those that are online watching. I think there's a couple people watching on YouTube. It feels like Facebook all went to sleep early, but thank you so much, guys, for having this talk. And I'm going to be back on. Like so far, it looks like the schedule is working really good for me. That I do it on the Sunday nights at 9:30, and then the Wednesdays at 9:30 again. Although I might start changing up the time a little bit, just because some of the people have told me that they're not available late at night and this and that. But I don't know. We'll see. But they can always watch the replays. That's the cool thing is that we get to get the replays and stuff. So I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna talk about next week. But I think, or on Wednesday. But I think one of them is going to be talking a little bit more about creating this buyers group or association. And I'm thinking in the next couple of days, I'm going to think of a way to structure it so that you either buy from the collective at a price or you buy from a group of people that we've vouched for or that like you could come to us and say, hey, can you verify this buyer for us? You know what I mean? And but I just, the more I think about it, it's like the more I feel like the association, like buying from one sort of group is the way to go, because then you can like ensure the quality, you can ensure like it's easy to send the money, you know what I mean? Because a lot of these people, the only option they have is Western Union, right? Whereas in the group, I would set it up so that you would send the money to the, I guess, who's ever running the CMOS in the group, and they would make sure that the people that had sold their CMOS to them, they get it paid an appropriate time. But we'd be able to like wire it down there, because that's what we generally do. Like we move big chunks of money, so it'd just be a matter of just adding it to the chunk that we're already moving. And I think that the money, it's just like, I guess, a safer method, or more trusting method to transfer the money than opposed to dealing directly with that particular farmer. Because a lot of times, I don't know, not even, I don't want to say a lot of times, there's well, a lot of times people are afraid, because I don't see it happening, but people are afraid that if they give the money, they're not going to get their CMOS, you know? So, I don't know. I'll think of more ways. But until then, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. And I hope to see you guys here next Wednesday.
sounds good.
Yep. You're doing a show on every Sunday and Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to try and keep it consistent to be every Sunday and Wednesday at 9:30. Because those are usually days that I'm like, around 9:30, I've kind of wound down for like I don't get interrupted a lot on these times. And so it's a good time for me to sit and talk about CMOS for a couple hours. Yeah. And Joe, I don't know if you guys know this, but I've also put a replay function on these shows on Clubhouse, and so you can actually go in and listen to all the past episodes that I've done.
Okay.
So if you miss
Okay.
one talk, you'll be able to come back and like listen in or watch and see what we kind of like talked about or discussed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go and get some rest before it gets too late, and I'm gonna see you guys hopefully next Wednesday. And if there's anything particular you guys want to talk about, like in the Seamoss industry, I'll be all ears, or we can always discuss it then.
Okay.
Sure,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, man. Well, thank you, and you guys have a great night. I'm gonna end the live stream, and yeah.
All right, bye everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good night.
You too.
Take care.